They fooled me, we can't get fooled again.
In Dallas, Texas, 3 shots were fired at President Kennedy's motorcade in downtown Dallas.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
You don't know what you're talking about, do you?
Because people have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
If you don't like what we tell you to believe in, we'll kill you.
All right, kids. Listen.
Don't
Podcast,
listen to this.
if you're not of age.
What's of age?
This is 18 and up. Look, we're a bunch of dudes, and we're going to say some really bad words. And probably some things that might offend you. But
Don't listen to this.
can't wait till you listen.
Yeah, don't
If
do
you're
it.
18 and up.
Don't do it.
If you're 18 and up.
Yeah. Hey guys, welcome back to the Conspiracy Podcast.
What's up, guys?
Thanks for being with us again. I wanted to give a quick special shout out to Holly, who emailed us, and she was the one who suggested that we do Kurt Cobain. We then did a survey on our Spotify and got a shitload of votes, and they voted for Kurt Cobain too. So Holly, this one's for you.
There you go. So Kurt Cobain. Oof.
I know, what a legend.
This is more. I mean, I know we did Tupac and Biggie.
But this is
That's
more.
kind of like your guys' thing.
It's like me and Jorge in the fields.
Eric's all excited for Kurt Cobain. He's
Yeah,
like,
I had
yes.
tons of hair, and it was like grunge, bro. Like I had my flannels going.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So he was like your hero.
No, I was very Pearl Jam,
Okay.
Okay.
but very similar.
I mean, yeah.
You know,
I mean,
I also Seattle actually has a lot of grunge musicians that came out of it.
Yeah, that's
Soundgarden,
true.
yeah.
you
lot
know,
of 'em.
Nirvana, you know, stuff like that. So, anyways,
I mean, it ain't no Tupac. You know,
I mean,
but,
God, not even close.
but
I mean,
in
get me
your-
wrong. Nirvana
but
is dope.
he's your goat. He's your goat.
He's the go to the time.
Yeah.
But so in your upbringing, where was Nirvana?
Dude, I didn't start listening to that type of music until like college.
Really?
Yeah, I was almost.
He's a
I
young.
was al-
He's a youngin',
He's a
man.
baby.
He's a youngster
little
of us
babe.
three.
Well, according to Facebook,
if anybody's a 50-year-old, it's me here. Like,
no, but I was almost exclusively rap, and then I listened to Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I was like, oh shit,
There you go.
Like,
yeah.
there's other music other than rap music.
Kind of similar to him, but I mean, I think everybody knew about Nirvana and
Yeah.
the most
Yeah, they were huge.
That most famous song or whatever, and really took off, Teen Spirit or whatever.
Yeah,
and
it smells like Teen Spirit.
yeah. And I don't know but that's as far as for me, honestly,
Really?
as far as it went. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did dive a little bit more deeper into his music, but I was more hip hop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just yeah.
And you,
Yeah.
so
Same,
you
right?
were,
That's what I'm saying.
you
We're like
were,
twinsies. We're
you
twinsies.
were Ohio,
Yeah.
right? And you were in Texas.
Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Yeah,
and,
clearly.
And, you know, so it was very relevant, you know. And
it's still great. I'm not like not. I'm
Yeah,
not like knocking.
yeah.
I'm just saying from what
was
just
good.
what I was doing at the time,
Right.
and I respect that music. I love that music.
well, this is actually, and the further I go into it, he was pretty much a hero for Gen X.
Yeah.
This is Gen X time.
True.
You know, this is where you're 18 in 92.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's that time period. And, you know, him and Nirvana, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, even the Chili Peppers, you know, that sort of thing. That's
When I was
that
doing
time.
research for this, my wife was talking to her about it because she was a huge fan.
Yeah.
And so she was a little bit jealous that we're going to be
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
this now. but man,
She had her
it's-
chance.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, she voted.
she
twice.
voted for
Yeah,
sure.
she voted twice.
Twice. She made up a whole nother profile just to vote.
She VPN'd.
Okay, Kurt
Busy
Cobain. Now, what's crazy about this is that, you know, I don't know. I feel like we're going to be divided. This one's weird.
I mean,
this one's weird.
I mean,
Yeah.
technically, we're divided on like 90 fucking 2%
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
Except for people that we did have listeners who are like, hey, well, why do you guys all agree? And I was like, that was the one episode that we've all agreed. There's
true.
actually been 2 episodes that we all
You
agreed.
talking about Flat Earth?
Oh, yeah. I'm like, listen to anything else. And it's like, I'm like, fuck you, Eric, you idiot. You know, shit.
Okay, Kurt Cobain. He was born Kurt Donald Cobain, February 20th, 1967, in a place called Aberdeen. This is Aberdeen, Washington.
And I love that that's his actual name, and it's not like a pen name
Oh,
or
yeah.
stage name.
Oh, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, very true.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah. So Aberdeen, Washington's about 3 hours from Seattle. Population 17,000 today.
Oh, so back then it was like
10?
2,000.
I mean,
like,
9?
like the Amish people
Yeah.
were like, it was like fucking.
Yeah, it's a very tiny fishing town, timber logging town.
Isn't like northern Washington like Aberdeen?
Yeah,
Is it,
it's
like,
on the
further
coast,
north?
a little bit on the coast. So 3 hours basically west, of Seattle. Yeah.
Middle of nowhere.
Basically, yeah. And he talks about it too, that if you didn't get into logging,
You're an asshole.
then you were an
Exiled?
outsider.
Yeah.
You were an outsider because everybody was a logger. So he was born in 1967. He was born in Aberdeen's Harbor Community Hospital. He was the only son of Donald and Wendy Cobain. Don, his dad, worked as a Chevron gas station mechanic near their home.
Logger.
I know. That's why I was waiting
know,
for it. I was
no,
like,
yeah.
fucking outcast.
In August of that year, they moved down the street to another place in Aberdeen. By age 2, he was really into the Beatles and the Monkees. And then he finally kind of picked up an acoustic guitar of his aunt's, and he wrote his first song at 3.
Jesus Christ, this is a fucking savant.
Yeah, and he.
My kid's into Baby Shark. Not enough the Beatles.
So then his uncle got him basically his first electric guitar and amp. And by the time he was 7, though, he was diagnosed as hyperactive. And by the time he was 7, he was prescribed Ritalin.
Really?
Wow, I didn't know that was going on in the 60s.
Yeah. It kind of seems
7, so early
70s,
mid-70s.
yeah.
Early mid-70s.
Yeah. So
I
in
don't know,
seven,
it just kind of seems more of like a
2000s kind
yeah,
of thing.
yeah. But anyways,
so in 76, although we don't know how much he was taking it and at what point. You know what I mean?
Obviously,
It's
we're not
just-
so he was
just
prescribed, but
Yeah, because it was also when they started, coining the term ADHD and that sort of thing. So
So let's give these kids speed. That's gonna be the right play.
So in 1976, his parents divorced. He was heartbroken. And by that time, he had a sister who was born a few years later. The sister remained with the mom.
Oh shit! So they were split.
Yes.
That sucks.
Yes. And then Kurt left to live with Dawn. And then Dawn remarried in 78. His new wife and his new kids moved in. And Kurt even says, I was happy up until age 9.
Oh, and that's when he became an outsider again in his own house.
Yes. So he had a happy, great childhood. And then at age 9, they divorced. And then he moved into a new family's house.
Yeah, so he's almost like a foster kid.
Yes,
like in their
exactly.
house.
Yeah. So that's when he became unhappy. Music and art became his escape, yeah, and his refuge and his. So he played drums in elementary, the junior high band. He drew. He was a painter, a poet.
Man, he did
was
everything.
doing a
Holy
lot.
shit. He was super
Very
artistic.
artistic,
All
yeah.
the things that I cannot do.
Yeah.
He was doing it.
Yeah. Then moving a little bit forward, his uncle arranged for him to have his first guitar lesson, and then that's when he got a Gibson, knockoff Gibson guitar. And basically,
it was like Gibdson. Gibson.
So in 1983, he attended his first rock concert, which was Sammy Hagar.
Oh wow.
But at that point, he then was living with his grandparents because he was unhappy with his living situation.
It's like stepmom and like all that shit.
Yeah. So then he was living with his grandparents, and then he was unhappy with living with his grandparents.
Oh wow. So he's like, this all sucks.
Yes, exactly. So he again got frustrated, and that's when he started to go to his friends and sleep on their couch.
So how old is he about this time?
It's like 83, so he's 19.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, he's like, get your own place
18,
now, bro.
19. Yeah. So he started to basically just find out where he could live, renting out rooms. He moved into a house where he rented a room where they had musical gear, and that's when he was able to use more gear and start
More
jamming,
music, yeah.
That's the whole thing, yeah. So Cobain dropped out of high school, and then his friends then asked him to move out.
Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Because it was, the painting.
You're not contributing.
The writing was kind of on the wall. This is he's sleeping on the the spare room and in a strange family's house.
And I was like, we're not going to feed you anymore.
One night, 2 nights, and then
Yes.
it turns into a year, and it's like, okay, all right.
I can't buy you clothes anymore, bro. Like, get out.
Yeah. So, but that's when he also started to get in trouble.
Oh.
So he got arrested a few times for basic vandalism, graffiti, drunken, disorderly, different arrests.
Yeah, just like fucking.
Yeah.
He's a vagrant.
Yeah, exactly. He got a job as a janitor at his old high school.
Solid.
And at that time, so you got to know in the early 90s, it was a strange, the formation of grunge was an interesting thing because it was almost like a depressive state / hate the establishment.
Oh, yeah.
And hate the 70s of jocks and, bro dudes.
And they're just like upset.
Yes.
You're upset and everything sucks.
Yes, exactly. I want to read a quote. He reflected later about Aberdeen. He says, "It's a coastal town about 100 miles from Seattle. It's a really small place, a very small community with a lot of people who have very small minds.
Oh, damn.
Basically, if you're not prepared to join the logging industry, you're going to be beaten up or run out of town."
Oh, shit.
wow.
So they're like a gang.
Yeah, it's like a fucking gang.
You gonna fucking cut that tree now?
So that was Cobain
Initiation.
saying.
Cut that tree.
Cut that fucking tree right now. We're gonna watch you and drink.
So in addition, one of his early high school friends was gay and he was being bullied.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
And so he kind of embraced the I'm a rebel.
Oh, like,
You know what I mean?
and
Because
I'm gonna
because-
go against the. I'm gonna go against the establishment.
Because my
Yeah.
friend is gay and he's getting beat up, and you guys are losers, and fuck this place.
Yeah.
I mean, I
shithole.
understand that.
I understand
I
it
can,
too, yeah.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was then arrested for graffiti with a tag, which was "God is gay," and then in 1985 he was also arrested and he wrote, "Ain't got no how whatchamacallit," like the candy bar. Don't know what that means.
Oh, like a watch. I don't know what the.
That's a real rebel right there.
Yeah,
I know that's a real inside fucking dig against what you call.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fuck those chocolate bars. Anti-gay chocolate bar motherfuckers.
I mean, maybe there's more to that sentence, but I don't really.
That's all we know.
ain't
Ain't got no how whatchamacallit. Don't know.
Damn, they were like pissed. They were
Yeah.
like, get this guy.
So then Cobain got into punk. And this is, the Sex Pistols and, that whole scene started to happen. Yeah. And
I'm
one of his
not into that music.
one of his favorite bands was the Melvins, of which he actually got an audition to join the Melvins. But during the audition, he froze up and he just didn't get picked.
Weren't those guys also from Seattle?
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
Yeah. There was a few of them that
Yeah.
came out of there, like we said.
Yeah. In 1984, Cobain got a job at a restaurant. In 85, he rented an apartment in Aberdeen, another maintenance job. He crossed paths with a musician, and his name was Chris Novoselic. Chris Novoselic would become one of the bandmates of Nirvana.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. They started doing rehearsals. They started playing together. Novoselic was the bassist. And so they put together their first songs on a demo tape. This is when you had a cassette.
Oh, yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
bro,
Back
check
in-
out my
Passing my
demo.
demo.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Hey, my demo, brother.
Yeah. So by 86, Cobain and Novoselic formed a band with somebody named Aaron Burkhart. In 87, they debuted at something called a beer bash at a
Fuck yeah.
house.
This sounds dope.
It was just the house.
I'd
Like-
go there.
Yeah.
Tell me when the next beer bash is.
Yeah. But apparently nobody was really paying attention because they were
They were
just
too busy
at a beer bash.
Bashing the beers.
Yeah. Hey guys, hope we're enjoying the show so far. We wanted to take a break and just remind you of the different ways that you can support our podcast. The first and foremost is you can subscribe by clicking the follow button on Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts. It's on the show page. It's really easy. You just click it and subscribe. What this does is it makes it so you get notified every new release that comes out. Another way is by simply following us on social media. This is Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, etc. But one of the best ways that you can support our podcast is to help us grow. And how do you do that? You can share the show with friends and family. Okay, thanks a bunch, everybody. Now back to the show. So, yeah.
Did you guys hear anything? No.
So the entire time they were trying to
Just fucking
find,
background noise.
they're trying to find their name. I guess they couldn't figure out a name that they liked. They
So, like,
went.
now to the stage.
Yeah, they went through like,
Music.
fucking, like
They went
6
through
different
tons.
ones.
Yeah. So at one time they were called Skid Row. Another time they were called Pen Cap Chew. Another time they were called Bliss. And then eventually in 1988, they played under the name Nirvana. And Kurt said the following about the name. He said, I wanted a name that was kind of a beautiful or nice and pretty instead of a mean, raunchy punk name like the Angry Samoans.
Yeah, or Pen Cap Chew.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So they were, Seattle really took off in this whole grunge era, the bands coming out. So they moved to Seattle. But one of the bandmates, the Burkhart guy, he stayed in Aberdeen.
Yeah.
So eventually the rehearsals just didn't work. So they said, peace out to
You're
Burkhart.
You're out, bro.
Novoselic also moved to Seattle with him.
You got to think.
So
about
it was just those two.
how
anymore.
pissed was that guy? Like,
my
after it's
God.
Imagine that.
he was, life is not worth living anymore. Like, they fucking got huge, and I'm in Aberdeen.
He tells that story
He's-
all the time.
He's a logger. He's like
Yeah.
chopping down logs. Like, back in my day, I knew this guy.
I was I was the lead singer from Nirvana. And they're like, you don't sing. Yes, I would. So, I used to.
So they started doing gigs, but they needed to find somebody else. They needed to find a third at least.
Yeah.
Right? But at this time, he started experiencing these weird stomach pains. And he couldn't figure it out, and he was diagnosed many times, and it was just apparently a very painful stomach problem.
They're like ulcers or something, or they don't know.
Don't even know.
It's like a big poop.
I mean, there's
He was
just
just constipated.
no, and you'll see later that they still
don't really
debate
know?
it. You
Yeah.
could go on Reddit right now, and there's 1,000 threads about what stomach problem Kurt Cobain had.
Yeah.
And we don't know.
But it was enough that he was in constant
That's
pain
right.
the whole
and
time.
apparently, it's what led him to heroin.
Well, see, maybe it was
Yeah.
something. It was probably something that wasn't even related to the stomach that was just causing that. And they're we're looking at stomach here. What's wrong with the stomach here? And it's probably like something.
But so
liver or
apparently,
some
he went
shit.
to doctors, and they kept saying it's this, and then it never worked. So he tried heroin.
Because I don't feel shit.
And then now he doesn't.
yeah, just
You know what I
fucking
mean? So
numb the shit.
That's the thing with drugs is you find the one
It
that
takes
it's
away the pain.
pleasure,
Takes away the
right?
pain, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is great.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yep.
Yeah,
Terrified of needles. Yeah, can't do it.
yeah. At this time, they were noticed instead of them being there's so much aggressive music going on that they're aggressive, but they're not that. They're kind of pleasantly aggressive, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and also with the
You're
name.
talking about Kurt's
Nirvana.
Okay.
Nirvana, you know what I mean? I mean,
'Cause the other ones,
just imagine
other bands were like,
oh, crazy, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So just imagine you go to a show.
Burn it all fucking down.
Yeah, you go to a show and it's all punk, and then there's Nirvana too. You know what I mean? And it's a little
Yeah.
bit more pleasant, and so they stood out.
And the name, dude, the name's
Yeah.
also
True,
like
true.
You know, like Nirvana is what the fucking Buddhists are searching
Yeah.
for, like fucking.
Yeah. So they got a record deal.
Oh, nice.
You know, they got signed. It was a pretty small one at the time, but still they had this massive problem, which they couldn't find
A third person.
the drummer. Basically, that's what they were looking for. They put ads, literally,
In the
and they
paper?
just couldn't find it. Yeah.
Put up posters all over Seattle.
Drummer needed.
So
Pay sucks.
they did find a friend was introduced to Cobain and Novoselic, and it was a drummer. His name was Chad Channing, and within a few weeks they began playing together. And so he was the drummer for a couple of years, and so that's what enabled them to go on tour.
yeah.
So they went on tour for about 6 months. They came out with their first album. It was called Bleach. It sold 40,000 units with zero advertising and promotion.
That's impressive.
That's a good sign.
Word of mouth, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at this point, this is when he met a woman named Courtney Love.
Fuck.
Yeah. So apparently, and it's all hearsay and we don't really know, but apparently he met her at a nightclub in Portland.
Wait, at this time, was she already famous?
She was, yeah.
What year is
Hole,
this again?
1990 now.
Okay.
January 90.
Yeah.
She was in a band called Hole.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she was actually doing better than he was.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was more famous than him.
Yeah, not for long.
But they met at a nightclub, and apparently she had a crush on him because she saw him at a gig, and, you know, Cobain later said, I was determined to be a bachelor for a few months, but I knew I liked Courtney so
For a
much.
few months. I'm trying to live it. You know?
But I knew I liked Courtney so much right away that it was a really hard struggle to stay away from her for so many months. So by the time the pair met, she was already famous. We mentioned that, but Nirvana was growing. So in September of 90, Cobain was introduced to a person named Dave Grohl.
Fucking legend.
Dave Grohl was part of a group called Scream, and he was looking for a new gig. He easily passed the audition and was instantly made part of Nirvana. And he obviously became
Dave Grohl's
almost as famous as Kurt, really.
Well,
I mean, in its own.
Well,
'cause
now
he did Foo Fighters later.
Well, now he's like way more famous.
Well, now.
yeah, I mean, you know,
Like way.
Fair. That's not fair.
that's not fair. I know. Yeah.
It's not his fault he's still alive. And Foo Fighters are the shit.
Right.
Like, come on.
But the point is, the guy is a star too. For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Now-
exactly.
Yeah.
September of that year, they released "Smells Like Teen Spirit." That's when things went nuts.
Bananas.
That's MTV TRL. That's when they started pushing it.
Spring break.
Yeah. They were, anyways, it was huge. And they got radio hits. They came out with Come As You Are. And they just became massive. And they went on a European tour.
Non-stop on the radio back then.
Never ending, yeah. In 92, Courtney Love found out she was pregnant.
Yeah, right. On purpose. Found out. Ooh, whoopsies.
So they decided to get married, which they did while they were on tour, and they did in Honolulu.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Cobain wore flannel pajamas to the wedding.
My fucking god. What an actual legend. I cannot believe
Flannel,
that's
yeah,
real.
of course.
I think flannel pajamas
I
in
didn't
Hawaii.
know that. That's
Yeah, you
fucking
can look it up.
Like, I just got a newfound respect. Like buying a Nirvana shirt tomorrow.
Yeah. So there were only 8 wedding guests in attendance. Dave Grohl was one of them. But here was the other part, and this is kind of leads into building the story, the backstory that we're talking about, and the whole purpose of this, which was that Chris Novoselic didn't go.
Did they say
He
why?
was the guy. You know what I mean? Like he was the dude, the ride or die at the beginning.
Yeah, from the beginning. He moved to Seattle.
So him and his wife didn't go because they thought that Courtney was a horrible influence.
I see.
And they just had major disagreements
They couldn't,
on
like,
them getting
They
married.
just couldn't get behind it.
They couldn't support it. So
That's a big deal. Like
I know,
not
that's
go
a
to
huge
the
deal.
not go to the wedding at all.
not go to the wedding. Yeah.
Because I would have been, babe, come on.
Yeah. It's pretty obvious. So the early days of their relationship, they were major heroin
No, drug addicts.
together.
Yeah.
You know, so much so that they went on binges while she was pregnant.
Oh my God.
Damn.
And then she admitted in magazine articles that she was doing heroin when Frances Bean, which is the daughter, was when she was pregnant with Frances Bean.
What a fucking cunt. I mean, I automatically
So
hate
also
her.
Kurt was too, though.
But he wasn't, he didn't
Yeah,
have
I
baby
know,
inside of his
No,
body.
I know, but I mean, you know, I'm just saying.
I'm
they
not
were,
saying,
they
like-
were
They were both doing it.
they were like partners in crime.
No, but I'm
and,
not, I'm
you
not
know,
saying
that-
like, oh, it's doing
Yeah.
heroin's fine as long as you're not pregnant. It's just, it's actually, that should be a criminal. It's
Yeah.
like a criminal.
It should be.
Like, what the fuck?
Yep.
Damn.
That's so fucked up.
So August 18th, 1992, Courtney Love gave birth to Frances Bean Cobain.
Thank God she
A few days later, Child Protective Services visited the couple to assess if it was an unhealthy environment.
Did they visit her uterus? Like, Jesus Christ, unhealthy environment.
So the agents did not do anything at the time. So they visited them, but they did not.
They were like, can we get an autograph, bro?
Yeah, exactly.
Basically, yeah. So in 92, in Vanity Fair, she was a big interview in it. She's quoted as saying that she and Cobain went on a drug binge after finding out she was pregnant.
Damn.
I mean, it's just such a weird reaction. I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
Get the heroin.
It might have been
so
like,
there was
let's get as much as we can out of this. Like, let's just do it. Let's go on
I wouldn't even understand
Were
like,
they
a glass
nervous?
of champagne.
Oh, I know.
Sure, glass
I'm not
of
saying
champagne.
it's
Go
right.
for it.
Yeah,
But
I'm not
let's-
saying it's right.
let's inject heroin in our bodies. That's
Jesus
genius.
Yeah. Now, in her defense, she claimed she was misquoted later.
Oh, okay. How do you get misquoted?
It happens all the time.
I said we were I don't even what rhymes with binge. I know, like that was a singe. On my,
I said I saw one syringe, not a binge.
It was a syringe of hormones. Like that. It was a heroin.
Soon thereafter, Child Protective Services went back because that article also caused a stir. You know?
Yeah.
They went back and they lost custody.
Oh, so the state took the
Damn.
kid?
Yeah, and they awarded it to Courtney Love's sister, Jamie. So Francis was with Jamie for a bit, but Cobain and Love had to get through a program.
Oh, of course.
Like
And
a
then
rehab.
yeah,
and, all
and then
that.
pass drug tests, and then they eventually
got custody
reclaimed Francis back.
Yeah, because like
makes sense.
at least
Good.
I'm actually at least she
Yeah.
went to her aunt, you know, and not to like
Yeah.
some
True,
random
true.
family.
True,
Like,
very true,
That would
yeah.
have sucked.
Yeah, yeah. So February '93 now, Nirvana releases Heart-Shaped Box, All Apology, you know that song. Number ones.
Oh yeah,
Killing it.
Killing it. Yeah.
Number ones. He's still using heroin this whole time.
It's hard for people to get off.
Yeah.
I never did.
In '93, while preparing for a concert in New York, he OD'd on heroin.
Fuck.
Damn.
Yeah. Apparently, Courtney Love revived him herself with naloxone, which is like a stimulant to revive you,
Oh,
basically from.
it's almost like epinephrine, which
Yeah,
is
like
this-
it's
this
it-
adrenaline.
Yeah,
This is pure adrenaline.
Although what's crazy is to me is you have to be an extreme addict to be carrying around this revival drug.
I just my hand in it.
Who got it? Who has it?
Happen to have this on me.
Give me the epinephrine
It's
now.
almost like
It's
you're
not funny,
You're
but-
preparing for that.
I
It's
know.
like-
Yeah, you're preparing for ODing.
That's like that's when you're
It's insane,
That's
right?
what happens when you're like a rich drug addict.
True.
Yeah,
True.
you have it, you're like contingencies. But so like in case I OD, I got the pens are in the back. Okay,
It's all good. It's all good.
I know it's not like you're on the street and you're just like die.
Yeah.
So she saves him.
Yeah, and apparently he then took the stage that night.
Oh my god, what a psycho!
What?
I'm good. I'm good. I said I'm good.
Isn't that crazy? This reminds me of Elvis.
I'm good, bro.
I know. Like,
Doesn't it remind you?
Yeah.
It reminds me of the story of Elvis.
He's
where
always
he's
like sweaty and like
yeah, and
fucking,
he's drugged out and he's whatever, and then all of a sudden he gets on stage, bam, he's in.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
reminds me of Babe Ruth.
Yeah,
He's just like fucking
Yeah.
shit faced, and he's like, okay,
17 hot dogs.
And he's like, fuck it, let's do this.
So March 1st, 1994, Munich, Germany, Nirvana does their final gig. So Courtney and Cobain, they flew to Rome with guitarist Pat Smear, but on March 3rd, Cobain overdosed from a combination of basically the roofie pill, Rohypnol, and champagne. And so apparently the roofie was put into the champagne, kind of like sprinkled into it, and he OD'd.
Yeah, you don't really OD on champagne. Trust me,
Trust me, I tried.
I've drank a lot of shit. I just pass out. There's no OD. The OD is puking because
Yeah.
you're drunk.
So both Smear and Grohl recounted the incident in the documentary Foo Fighters, back and forth, with Grohl sharing that Cobain indicated that the overdose was a mistake. However, Courtney Love believes that he tried to kill himself. So you have Grohl saying Cobain thought it was an accident, and then you have Courtney saying this is him killing himself.
Okay.
Okay?
But I feel like if he was going to kill himself, wouldn't he use Old Faithful heroin? Wouldn't he like go back to,
Yeah.
fucking
But here's the interesting part, okay? So I'm going to go back 2 days. Before the show, Cobain got into a fight over the phone with Courtney. So before the show in Munich, the last one, right? He got into a fight on the phone with her, of which he was screaming and yelling that he needs to divorce her.
I'm fucking done with you. See this shit?
So he kept screaming and yelling to this other person that he wanted to stop doing Nirvana,
Oh shit.
and he didn't like being famous.
Oh, he's like, I'm done. This is not fun.
He didn't like it, and he wanted to divorce Courtney.
So you just want to
He
go
wanted
back.
a full life change.
I can imagine
essentially.
being an artist like that, and I feel like you're all about the music and how it makes people feel and stuff. But fame,
You're not about the
fame
the-
sounds
the
like
fans.
shit. When I think of like being
does.
famous, it sounds terrible.
It does sound terrible.
does.
Like
Yeah,
everyone's
I mean,
all up
of
your
course.
up your ass all the time.
Yeah,
I'm like,
all of us will take the money, but the,
Oh,
fucking,
trust me.
the annoying fans, like,
trust me, listeners, make us famous.
Yeah.
but just don't look for
I
me.
wanna
Not that famous.
No, just
though.
like medium famous. Like
Yeah.
C-list.
No, what we want is no face famous.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Voice famous.
Yeah,
I just want to be voice famous.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, like Liberace.
I don't want to. No, I don't want to.
No, I don't want.
I just
Okay,
don't.
so so Nirvana's management would claim that the overdose was accidental, but then months later,
I accidentally took Rohypnol. Whoopsies.
but then months later, Courtney Love told Rolling Stone that he took 50 pills, and that he wrote her a suicide note.
Oh,
But she ripped up the suicide note
okay.
Come on now.
Okay.
or burned it, whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It was in my mind.
She said that he said that he would rather die than go through another divorce.
Another divorce?
Another?
Remember when he was 9?
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's a little different when like you're in the
I don't know.
relationship.
Yeah, but
I
he's
know,
like
but
fucking so
maybe
scarred from
he's
that.
super-
or-
yeah.
and-
Obviously, it was a change in his life, and I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's like divorce.
It is
equals
pretty.
Divorce. Like it's the
No
same-
offense to all of this, but it's pretty drama-y.
I'm like,
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean,
my mom got divorced. I love you, mom. It's nothing against you. I'm
me
just saying,
too.
like,
I'm in the same boat.
and I'm not like, give me the Rohypnol,
Yeah.
50 pills.
know.
And oh, by the way, I'm rich and famous. Kill me.
Yeah.
I can't go through another divorce from Courtney, who I literally said I want to get divorced from. Like, there's the thing. He said I wants to get.
I want to get a divorce.
Well,
yeah.
So why would he be-
according to her?
No.
No.
According to people who
according to
heard
people
the
who heard
conversation
him.
on the
Oh,
phone.
okay,
But
okay,
she's
okay.
She
saying-
never said that.
She's saying that he'd rather die than go through another
Yes.
divorce.
Okay.
Meanwhile, he's like,
So you
I'm
see-
done with you, bitch.
Yeah, and you see that so far, and we'll keep going, but you see that she's the one saying he was suicidal.
She said,
Suicidal.
Suicidal.
No.
Suicidal.
switch a sample.
Suicidal.
Samples.
Switch samples.
See,
God,
fool me, can't fool me.
Yeah, fool me.
No, she's the one who's saying that he
It kind
wanted to kill
of
himself.
seems like she's setting the table.
Yes.
Like she's
Right.
setting the
Little
narrative.
bit.
She's setting the narrative.
a little bit. Yeah.
He keeps trying to kill himself.
Okay,
I ripped
so-
up the note. I don't want to incriminate him, but I ripped up the note, so I'm going to incriminate him right now.
So Nirvana.
Trust me. Just trust me on this, bro.
So Nirvana.
He typed it.
Nirvana as a whole decided to reschedule the entire tour to allow him to recover.
Okay.
Basically.
Good guess.
Yeah.
Okay, but one thing to note is that the doctor
In Rome.
in Rome
Yeah.
that took care of Kurt Cobain, right? He was later interviewed, and then they were asking him like, when you pumped his stomach, did you actually take out that many pills?
Yeah.
And he said, no way, So it was only like one. I don't remember exactly if he said one or the number, but it was definitely not. He said definitely not 50 pills.
And even if it was a physical pill, I wonder if there was all the amount, like
The amount,
per
yeah.
parts per million or whatever the fuck.
But I mean,
that shit,
Yeah.
I mean, one roofie's gonna do it.
I know.
right?
I've
So
never,
isn't that the idea?
I've never done a roofie, but like my concept of it was one and done, and then you wake up the next day.
So
You're
50
like,
would have probably killed him.
Have you ever been roofied?
I've actually never done any drugs.
Any drugs? Period.
No.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I've done a lot. Never done roofies though. Never. It was never on my never like my drug of choice.
Now, if you didn't know though, you wouldn't know.
No, because you just black out. I mean, I blacked out before.
I
but
know,
that was
but
after,
how would
like-
you know if you?
But you say you did or you did not do roofie?
No, I've never done it on.
But you were just saying like that's what happens.
no,
you
what
just
happened?
black out.
No, yeah. The thing is, because
So say we're drinking hard, right?
that-
Say
I've-
we're drinking hard.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I black out.
Yeah.
How would I just not? How would I know the difference between us just drinking hard?
No,
And then
know what
being
happens? 'Cause-
roofied.
So when I was in college, we had a bunch of girlfriends, like friends that were girls, and a couple of them had got roofied, and so we were like, "Fuck this! Like, you're not allowed to go out. Like, we'll all go out together."
Yeah.
And so they said that pretty much what happened was they went to a party, and it was like they had one drink, and then they woke
I
up.
see.
Then they woke up the next day. So it's not they were. Shit,
weren't like 15
No,
in
they weren't
and
like
then
shit faced.
smashed. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were just starting, had one drink, and then was out.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
So that's how they knew it was something off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so her statement in Rolling Stone, she said he took 50 fucking pills.
That's so many pills. I
That's
mean,
quoted.
if I took like 50, like
We talked about Maryland,
like potassium pills, I'd fucking
no, remember
like
we talked
OD?
about.
I know straight like. "Ugh."
Remember we talked about Maryland?
Exactly. Yeah.
Same thing,
Right,
right?
yeah, right.
50 pills, la la. But that interview of the doctor, obviously there
He
wasn't
denied
50.
it. So now you start to
So
get
now
into like
she-
the
we know
credibility
she's
of
lying.
this chick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
she's
she's a
lying.
little exaggeration
Yeah.
station here.
Yeah. So Nirvana decided as a whole to reschedule the tour to allow him to recover, basically.
Yeah.
Of which he also wanted them to back out of Lollapalooza, which is a big festival,
Yeah.
big rock festival, etc. Of which they were offered $10 million
Jesus
to play Lollapalooza.
Christ.
Nirvana.
Nirvana.
That's so much money, especially that was in the 90s.
Yeah.
Woo!
So
10
apparently
million.
Courtney Love was very mad about him backing out of
Right.
Lollapalooza.
Well, I bet she was. He took 100.
So from there, Courtney Love tried to handle his heroin addiction. She forbid him from using drugs in the house. So Cobain,
Coming from the chick who fucking took heroin.
I
Yeah,
know,
she was probably
she's-
doing it.
she's
Okay.
just as bad.
Now
He
she's
even-
holier than thou.
Yeah, yeah. And so he would then just go to motel rooms and apartments with the dealers.
He's like, I'm not breaking the rules.
yeah, you know what I
doing it
mean?
in the
I
house.
mean, this is this is one of the most addictive things ever, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's
Heroin.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's not going to stop a multimillionaire.
I know. He's like, I'm rich. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm going to go record, babe.
Yeah.
I'll be back. I'll
So-
be back later.
So on March 18th, Seattle police were called to their home after an argument ended with Cobain locking himself in a room with guns, and then eventually they opened the room and they seized all of his weapons.
What state was this in?
Washington. This is at his home
okay.
in Seattle, Aberdeen area. Yeah.
Okay.
So Courtney said that he was gonna kill himself, but Cobain said, I was not going to kill myself.
He's like, the guns are self-defense.
That makes sense?
But he was locked in a room with the gun.
with the guns.
No, but it's okay. That's a little semantics, though. It's, if I locked myself in my
True.
bedroom, I have guns in there. If I locked myself in my hallway, I got guns in there too. You know, it's just because there are guns in the vicinity doesn't
I guess
mean
it
like.
kind of depends because
Did
it would
he-
be different.
If he,
like, I
grabbed,
don't-
if he grabbed guns and then ran in there and locked
Yeah.
himself in, that's a different story.
It's different because also you know me. If I was in a room with guns, it would
I'd
be
be like,
different
yeah.
than if you were because
Oh, no.
I don't have any guns.
I'd be like, I'm
Right.
cleaning
Do you know
them.
what I
What's the
mean?
problem? I'm like
Yeah.
loading. Like, fuck off.
So I think it's in context or in
True,
you
yeah.
know, character.
I just don't
you
know,
know,
like,
whatever.
I'm just not. I wish there was more information if he had them out or there's a safe in there with
Yeah.
guns. And he locked himself in the room. There's guns and
Yeah.
a safe in there.
True.
You know, is that really a danger?
Yeah.
But they said they confiscated all of his
and
shit.
she's the one that
Seized
called
them
it
all.
in.
Yeah.
So does it say, did she call it in? And she's like, oh my God, he locked himself and he's suicidal. You need to come quick.
There's
or-
no statement. Yeah, there's no police statement
Damn it.
like
Some
recorded.
missing
Yeah.
information.
Yeah.
Damn it.
I mean, it is 35 years ago.
That's a great point.
And there's-
Okay, fine. You get a pass.
So March.
Allow it.
So a week later, Courtney Love and 9 others, which were bandmates, friends, agents, they went to Cobain with a full-scale intervention.
Sit down.
Okay.
Buddy.
Right?
Sit down, buddy.
We got to talk.
Cobain was livid. Cobain was livid. He lashed out to everybody in the room, especially to Courtney Love, who he said was more fucked up than he was.
I mean,
I would have been the same way.
but that is isn't that a classic defense mechanism where
Totally.
like you're
Well, it's a
doing?
classic, but it is also true. Like,
It's I know.
Listen,
He's
Jorge.
like, what the fuck? You trying to
You're-
talk to me
you're more
about ODs
strung up
and
than
fuck-
I am. Yeah.
But Jorge, if you start doing heroin and I try to intervention you and you lash out to me, you're not right.
Yeah, no, but
Yeah.
You're wrong.
No, I know,
you're
yeah.
still.
But
You're
if
still.
you're
yeah.
but if you're the one doing drugs with me all the
True.
time,
It's both of you.
It's like, what the?
I would be.
You want to talk to me about fucking intervention? What about you, motherfucker?
No.
Let's get you in the middle.
I totally understand him lashing out at her.
Right.
But lashing out like at his like
At
his,
the other
his
guys.
other like his agent.
Yeah,
He's
Dave
I-
Grohl,
He's like
I mean-
Dave's like, bro, I'm not doing heroin. Like, fuck off. Like, but obviously, Courtney, yeah. Like even when I said, coming from the chick who did heroin when she was pregnant.
yeah.
Like
I know.
fucking, like
I
you
know.
have no say.
Yeah.
you say nothing.
And I really regret watching this, but there's a video on YouTube, and it's a behind the whatever. It's a video of them high,
Ugh.
and they're out of their minds.
Oh yeah,
both of them,
That's what heroin does, dude.
like singing, giving piggyback rides, completely stoned out of their minds. It's just not a pleasant video because you know they're fucking
know that they're
drugged
on
out.
heroin.
Yeah. So Courtney Love responded to that, saying that she had made plans to go to a drug rehab, and that
so
she said
she made plans. She didn't execute the plan.
she said that if he doesn't go to rehab, then they're getting a divorce. That's what she says later.
That's what she says that she said at that time.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. Yeah. But
He's like,
also,
sweet, I'm not going to stop doing drugs. Like, get divorced.
but
Dope.
also the bandmates offered an ultimatum as well, saying if you don't do rehab, then you're out of Nirvana.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he had a problem for sure.
Oh, he
Like,
is.
right?
Super
Yeah.
bad. Yeah. Very deep.
So, but the intervention ended with no real result. No real, okay, we're going to do this. It was kind of like an impasse, like a stalemate kind of
See you
thing.
tomorrow. We're gonna recap.
Yeah.
I'll see you at rehearsal.
So Courtney left for the airport immediately, and then all of them left. And then Cobain then went to his dealer that night.
Oh, of course he did.
And the dealer was interviewed later. I don't know how they found the dealer. Yeah.
Hey, put me on record.
But Cobain is quoted as saying, "Where are my friends when I need them? All my friends are against me."
Jesus, like so that's the answer.
So between that moment and when he eventually did check into a rehab, he had interactions with the grandparents where he planned a fishing trip. The grandma said everything seemed fine when he talked to me. He seemed very happy. The day after the intervention, Cobain visited his mother and sister, who left his house in tears after seeing him again strung out on heroin.
And I see that's what I want to say. It's such a classic thing.
Yeah.
My friends are against me for getting me to stop doing drugs.
I know, right?
Like, come on, man. Like,
Yeah,
take
it's a
some fucking
classic
like,
intervention.
You lose any personal responsibility, and it's just everyone's
It's all
against
their
me.
fault.
Yeah, it's everyone's.
No, yeah.
Everyone's making me wrong.
Yeah. Okay, so March 29th, Cobain agrees to let Chris Novoselic take him to the airport to do rehab. So this is his homie.
Yeah,
right?
Chris is like,
He's like, I'm going to drive you
day
there.
one. He's a
I'm
day
gonna
one.
Get you. I'm going to drive you there. Okay. Takes him to the airport. They get into a fist fight in the terminal.
He's like, get on the plane. Fuck off, Chris.
Yeah. And
Don't
then,
tell me what to
he
do.
takes a cab home. He doesn't get on the plane.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Do Chris.
So he goes back home.
And he's like, calls the dealer. My friends hate me.
So the
You're the
next
only
day,
friend I got.
So the next day, there's a friend of his named Dylan Carlson, and Dylan Carlson's also a druggie. He's a drug addict. He's a musician, etc. But he asks him to help him buy a gun.
Wait, Kurt asked this guy.
Dylan, yeah,
I thought he already. Oh, they confiscated. it.
confiscated. So here's why. So he didn't want his name to be on the gun, basically, because all of his stuff was confiscated before, and he didn't even know if he could get the gun.
Sounds like
So,
a
Because he's on like a
Dylan
list.
got the gun.
So Dylan got the gun. So they went. Yes.
idiot.
Yeah.
Listen,
so,
Dylan, buy it with your name.
Yeah.
Trust me on this.
Trust me.
Yeah. So
We're homies, right?
he told Carlson that the gun was for warding off trespassers because he claimed earlier recently that his house was robbed.
That's not
Okay.
probably true.
Yeah.
Could have happened.
Okay, they go to a place called Stan Baker Sports
So it's like Dick's, but like in the 90s.
and they bought a shotgun. And he said it seemed kind of weird that he was buying the shotgun before he was leaving for rehab. Dylan offered to keep it until Cobain returned, but Cobain declined, taking the gun to his house before heading to the airport that night. So basically, he was going to go to rehab. He finally, whatever. I don't know. We don't know what the fight was.
I was gonna ward off the trespass.
Yeah, I wish
before.
we knew more about that.
I know. We don't know what happened the day before, but so he was going to go. So then Cobain was planning to go to Exodus Recovery in LA for 4 weeks.
Damn. Man.
Now, Exodus Recovery treated him as a normal patient, not a suicidal one, because they were not told about the Rome incident.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, well, also
It's kinda like the suicide watch.
The Rome incident is
Yeah.
also like
I know. It could go either way.
Iffy.
Yeah, it could go either way. So he was treated like a normal patient. And witnesses say he was cooperative. He was really nice. He was
Well, maybe they put him on the Epstein suicide watch. Like, 31 hours, good to go. He's cured.
yeah. Meanwhile, let's not forget Epstein was in prison.
True. Good point. True. Valid point.
different.
He was not a free man.
He didn't pay $20,000 to get in there.
Exodus.
Yes. Yeah.
Continue,
Okay, so
please.
he was visited by Frances Bean, his daughter, twice with the nanny. He was happy
With the nanny.
Yeah, they
Not-
have a nanny.
Not
Not Courtney.
Courtney. Yeah.
Not Courtney. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So at about 6 p.m. on his third day, he made a phone call to Courtney Love. This is per Courtney Love.
Can't trust it.
So this is
already
what
a lie.
Courtney says.
He hasn't even said. We're like,
Don't
fuck
care.
this-
Don't even
fuck
say
this
it.
shit.
So Courtney says at the end of the conversation, he said, "Just remember, no matter what, I love you." Click.
Yeah, right. He was probably like,
Okay.
he was like, did you get the papers I sent you? Did you sign them? He was like,
An
"We're
hour,
done."
an hour and a half later, Cobain went outside to smoke a cigarette. He scaled a 6-foot brick wall while nobody was looking and escaped the
Really?
rehab center.
What a badass. Holy shit.
Wow. Okay.
By the time anybody knew what was happening, he was already on a plane back to Seattle.
And his cigarette's still lit on the ground. They're like, where the fuck's Kurt?
So he took a flight back to
Dude, what a
Seattle.
what
his
a
home.
jam. He's like,
Crazy,
fuck this
right?
place. I'm out of here.
Wasn't it cool too back then? You just had like $100 bill and you're like, take me to Austin.
I know. They're
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No ID, no
tracking,
ID, no
nothing.
anything. Like,
you don't need anything.
And that's
Yes.
like that's when you like you walk you buy your ticket like at the gate.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. The time of DB Cooper.
yeah, like, legendary
The
time.
heyday. So this is when it gets weird. Yeah, this is when it gets foggy. This is when, it's just, I don't know, you say this, you say that.
We
blah,
don't have a
blah.
lot of like concrete
That's right.
evidence.
Yeah. So Cobain's final days in Seattle are a big mystery. There were multiple sightings. People said, "Oh, I saw Cobain,"
like fucking
blah,
Bigfoot.
blah. Yeah, at a coffee shop. It's like
Cobain
Tupac.
sighting.
It's like Tupac in Jamaica. You don't know.
Or Cuba.
You know?
That was Cuba.
So there's some reports that he went to like his dealer's place. There's another report that he drove 40 minutes outside of Seattle with a friend, but there's no real way to like track
Know
him
exactly
really.
what happened,
Yeah. Here's what we do know. Cobain returned to Seattle. The first thing he did is he went to the house, and after midnight he arrived on April 2nd. And at dawn, he had somebody house sitting the house. It was a guy named Callie. Okay. And he was house sitting it with his girlfriend. He walked in, sat on their bed at dawn, started talking to them while they were asleep.
And they're still sleeping. He's like, it's been fucking wild ride.
Yeah.
Made it to the top.
So
Wait, it's worth noting that Callie was Courtney's ex-boyfriend.
there you go.
All right.
Yes.
oh,
And
Callie's the dude?
Yeah,
Callie's
he's
a
a
dude.
dude.
Callie's
His
a
name's
dude.
real name's Michael, but they just call him Callie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, weird. That's her ex-boyfriend.
And he was
He's-
house sitting the house.
I would never have my wife's
I know.
ex. Not in a million years. Hey, why don't you stay at my house? Fucking no. How about you stay out of my face?
Yeah. But he also had his girlfriend there. And so
So
anyway, so
Don't care.
Cobain walked in though. Cobain walked in, sat on the bed, and just started talking to them.
reminds me of
It's like 6 a.m.
It's reminds me of Wedding Crashes where like Christopher Walken walks in and like he's strapped in the bed and he's like, yeah. It's just like fucking it's just a conversation with him.
Oh, what a great movie.
It's so good.
Callie said he thought it was a hallucination. He didn't think it was real. So just imagine Kurt Cobain walks in. It's 6 a.m.
It's a little different because you're house sitting his house.
Yeah, you're like friends.
But
or-
even still, let's say
Yeah.
I'm just house sitting your house.
Yeah.
And you come in at 6 in the morning.
Like, sit down
I'm
on
with
the
my
bed.
girl, and we're dead asleep, and you just sit down and you start talking about some fucking shit.
You'd be like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah,
Like,
and then
please
you
don't,
leave 10 minutes later.
Like, just walk out.
Yeah, the next morning I might be like,
It's
it's a dream.
Yeah,
it's a dream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, never
And most of
happened.
these people are super drugged up.
I know. So
God knows what they
he
were
was
doing.
like, man, that stuff
Yeah.
was
Maybe
great.
Callie was high as shit too, and he was like, "Did
But-
this happen?" Like,
Good stuff.
Yeah. So they went back to sleep.
Yeah, like
Okay.
fucking.
yeah.
So then Cobain took a taxi to a gun shop to buy shotgun shells. Okay.
Is that report? Is that like verified?
Official? Is
It's
that
verified, yeah. Oh, and then it is confirmed that Callie was doing drugs, so he didn't even know when he came back.
Yeah, he was like,
fucking high out of his
lit.
mind?
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 days later, he realized it was real.
2 days later.
Yeah, 2 days later.
Holy shit!
So then 2 days later,
Oh, what the fuck?
so then 2 days later, Callie called Courtney Love and said, "Hey, Cobain's here. He escaped
He escaped fucking
and he's
rehab.
here." Okay? Yeah. So then they started searching for him, and they couldn't find him. For 2 days, they couldn't find him, including somebody that Courtney Love hired, which was a private detective named Grant. And we're going to get into that next episode a lot more. But
Private dick.
But they for 2 days they searched
Private
for him. For 2 days they couldn't find him.
I mean, they are in like probably the backwoods of fucking Washington. Probably pretty easy to vanish.
So 2 days later, on April 8th, an electrician came to the house. An electrician was there to install more security wires and more lighting, basically, to illuminate the
Who called
property.
him? Do we know who called him?
Don't know that. Yeah, don't know that. So in their house, there's a greenhouse that's above the garage, and it's kind of like a room, and it's got these French doors, and there's one walkway up to it. Okay, so the electrician went up there, and then he was looking through one of the windows, and he saw a body laying there, and bleeding out of the ears, and he realized he should call.
Yeah.
Well, when you see a shotgun next to a body, yeah, you
I mean,
gotta call.
when I see bleeding on the ears,
Yeah.
it's a medical emergency. No.
I mean, obviously you can get the idea, but that was Kurt Cobain having shot himself or killed with a shotgun.
Did he shoot himself in the head?
Yeah.
Was it like through the mat, like put in his mat, like blow the bag of his head off?
We don't know.
Yeah. See, that's
Yeah,
don't
that's
We
kind
don't
of
know.
weird
They
that we
don't
don't
say.
know that, you know.
Yeah, they don't say. But I mean, through his face or through his neck, we don't really know. They didn't really release that stuff. So a couple of things on it, real quick, before we dive into.
the fact that like
Yeah,
even
we'll
the
go into
drug
the
up
next
people didn't
episode.
hear any like loud, like they heard him like talking to him on the bed, but they couldn't hear a goddamn shotgun shot.
Yeah.
That's
so
a good
loud
point.
as
That's
fuck.
a good point.
one of the first responders to get there was a guy named Fisk, and he was part of paramedics, right? And they had to break a window to get in.
Why didn't they just go in where the electrician
locked.
went in?
He didn't go in. He just saw it through the windows.
Oh,
It was like a door with
okay.
like.
Yeah, it's like a French door, so it's like the
I
whole
got you.
door
So
is
you're
a
gonna see
window.
through. Okay, I
Yeah,
thought he like walked in and was like, oh,
His name was Fisk. His name was John Fisk. And Fisk was the first person to enter the greenhouse where Cobain's body was discovered. He had to break a small glass panel on one of the locked French doors to enter the room. Fisk said it was immediately evident to the paramedics that this was a DOA. So there was
Dead
nothing.
on arrival,
Yeah, so there's nothing for them to do. They're paramedics. They're there to see if, right?
sorry.
They don't need to start trying to
Yeah.
revive the guy.
Yeah.
Quick,
Exactly.
interesting point. Sorry to go back to the F scene. Was this our last episode? Remember they went in there? They were trying to resuscitate his ass.
True.
He's probably dead for hours, and they're like, "No, fuck it, chest compressions."
Yeah, but it's
Well,
different if you
Cobain
walk
was
in.
dead for 2 days.
That's a good point. Yeah,
And-
it probably
and-
smelled
and-
like decomp in there. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I was gonna say if you hang yourself or if you shoot yourself, it's very different.
Oh, yeah,
to
it's like his
identify.
head is, like,
yeah,
exploded,
you're like,
yeah.
okay, this guy's dead
Dead,
on arrival.
100%.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So here's some weird parts, okay? Fisk said that of the first responders, nobody recognized him.
Wait, what?
Okay, so the first responders, the paramedics that came in, nobody recognized that it was Kurt Cobain. He's the biggest, the biggest
like-
celebrity.
Definitely in Seattle. He's the biggest.
And North. I mean,
In America,
I'm just saying,
at least
definitely in
Yes,
Seattle.
that's right. So nobody was familiar. Nobody knew it was him.
That's
okay?
weird.
But
But
there's
they
that
don't-
first.
But do they say
But-
because his face was shot off?
No,
or
and
what?
check it out. He
It's like
says
his no head. Like
He says, though he pointed out that Cobain was recognizable despite a gunshot wound to the head, meaning it wasn't like
it was. You could see his face.
you could see your face.
It probably was like through his mouth. It was
Yeah.
the back of the head's gone.
And you could see, he said he had stringy blonde hair, pretty basic.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
what-
I mean, they should recognize him.
So
He's the
near
biggest
his
celebrity
body-
in the town.
I know. Yeah.
It's like LeBron is finally there. They're like, who the fuck's this?
Yeah.
Very large black male.
So here are the things.
Kind of recognize him, but you know.
Receding hair.
Those plugs?
Sorry, Brown.
Sorry, not sorry. You're rich.
Doesn't matter when you're rich.
It doesn't. You're rich.
A couple of things about the crime scene, and this is from the viewpoint of a first responder. So he's not a detective.
Right.
He's a first responder. Okay.
Yeah.
So in the little garden bed, there was a red pen with a suicide note, like stuck in between the red pen.
Oh, so it wasn't even by his body. It was in the garden bed.
But it was in the room because it was like
Yeah.
a greenhouse.
Oh, it was a greenhouse.
So it was
Sorry,
like
I thought
just
you
a
meant
little
like
tiny
I thought
bed.
you meant like
Yeah.
outside.
No, no.
Like,
No,
yeah.
just a very tiny bed. Yeah.
Okay.
So then there was a strangely not a lot of blood.
Especially
For
a
a shotgun to the
shotgun
head.
blast to the head.
That's abnormal. Not, you know what I mean? There was blood, but not.
But not
What
like
you would think.
You would think it'd be like
Yeah.
just a
Yeah.
gruesome scene.
Then to the side of him was a cigar box full of all his heroin stuff.
Yeah.
But none of the heroin stuff was elsewhere.
It was like used.
Yeah, in the needles and the spoon and the what I mean, the
like
wrap,
fucking
the cord and
You
all
would
that
think he
stuff.
would have did like one last little rip.
No, but here's the thing: is it was all tucked into it,
Oh,
so it wasn't like he shot up and then
I see.
Right, and like
Left
just
it
kinda,
out.
like fell
First of all,
back.
like
so it was like put away.
you're gonna kill yourself.
So
You're
he's
like,
like,
I'm gonna tidy up.
yeah.
I'm just gonna,
Let me shoot up, but let me make sure this
Yeah.
looks tidy.
And he's like, he's all fucked up. He's like, I gotta clean this up. Yeah.
So he was laying down, and in his left hand was the shotgun. Okay, the shotgun was inverted.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
So it's like easier, I guess, to
Yeah.
do the
Yeah,
toe-
so his left
little
hand,
toe on it? Yeah.
his left hand
Holding
was
it.
fully frozen on it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
because
Locked, yeah.
it was locked. Yeah.
And then like rigor mortis sits in. He's like,
And then the shell casing was to his left.
so it's inverted.
Which means the
The
shell
shell
casing.
casing would have
So
went,
that's
right.
would have went to the right
There you go.
because
There you
if it goes out to the right
That's right.
when you go, that's weird.
Yeah.
I've shot a lot of shotguns. It's always
It's
Yeah.
always that.
it's
way.
always that way because especially if it's inverted
Now-
upside down. The
The
shell
only
casing
thing I
So
can
much.
think of for that, by the
Well,
way.
no, we're not going to debunk it now. We got to give it to the
Shut
next
up, Jorge.
episode. There's a part. There's a part two. There's a part two. So then it went on the airwaves, and the world was shocked. And there even became copycat suicide kids.
Wow,
That's sad.
that's
Killing
fuck-
themselves.
That's
Like
fucked
people
up.
that followed him.
Yeah, and they
like,
loved him.
Loved
and,
him.
and they just looked up to him. And
That's so
So they, like,
stupid. Why the
They
fuck?
killed themselves with shotguns too and all that? Like
Same
trying to
way.
copy?
Same
Wow,
way.
that's crazy.
Why would you do that?
I can pull up the statistic, but I think it was about 60.
Oh my
What?
God!
Wow.
I don't like
60
anybody that
yeah.
much. Not a
Yeah.
one motherfucker I like that
No.
much.
I know, but
no.
the hero.
So?
I know.
No,
I'm
but-
just trying to. But you're a kid. I'm just trying to find.
I'm
the
sorry.
reasoning.
I just have never.
I know.
I
You're a kid. You're already depressed, suicidal.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
you're
saying.
already
It's-
on drugs.
yeah, you're
You
on
know,
drugs
you-
and
you-
you're into grunge. That's so
So-
sad.
that,
so
that,
sad.
that sucks.
So, and then to wrap up the episode, at the time, his estate or whatever,
Yeah, it's a state.
he left no will.
So it automatically goes to Courtney.
Half
Yeah,
to Courtney and half to Francis.
yeah.
Oh.
Francis was put into a trust.
No, but Francis can't get hers because she's
right.
not 18, so it goes
There you
into
go.
probate.
There you go. So half of it went
Yeah.
into this trust or whatever.
Yeah.
And then half went to Courtney, of which at that time it was worth $100 million or so.
Jesus Christ.
God
It was
damn.
estimated because of what was happening.
It's all like the publishing rights to
Yes,
the music
there you go.
and like
There you go.
all this
Yeah.
stuff. So
As of today, it's estimated $500 million.
Jesus.
Now,
But-
a lot
but-
of it
but
was
does-
spent.
But doesn't Dave Grohl own some of it too?
Yeah, but that's its own. That's
Dave
its own.
Grohl.
But that's Nirvana.
Yeah.
Like, this is just Kurt.
Oh, it's just
This is
Kurt.
Kurt's
Oh, I
portion.
thought you were talking about Nirvana. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Okay.
no,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
So I was gonna say, like, didn't he get a little some of that?
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. So there you go. So
It's like, I haven't even spent on heroin.
so that's episode 1.
God, they always
Wow.
end. Why do the episodes always end like? Oh,
I mean, most of our episodes end with a
it's
horrible.
just like
you know,
fuck.
But in episode 2,
Episode 2 is crazy. So, Courtney hired a private detective weeks earlier, and this private detective was looking for Kurt and using this Dylan guy to find him. They couldn't find him. They were all misdirected and all these different things that happened. And
Oh, I see.
there's fingerprints, there's all sorts of stuff that go, what is happening?
I mean, the shell casing thing has got me pretty like, ooh. I mean, because
oh,
that's
yeah, there's a lot more.
because physics is pretty universal,
right.
right.
Also,
Yeah, but even-
if
even-
you were to kill yourself, is that the way you go?
Also,
Upside down?
Yeah.
Also, the
You put it upside
the
down.
thing,
think so.
You know the weirdest thing about all this is, I'm assuming this is a pump action shotgun. This is not because I'm
Yeah.
assuming
Yeah.
he doesn't have a tactical shotgun like I do.
Mm-hmm.
The reason
No, your shotgun is badass.
No, the
I
reason
love that
I say that for an exact reason. So my tactical shotgun, it automatically rechambers a shell.
Okay.
So therefore, it's shitting out a shell. Pump shotgun, in order for that shell casing to be out, it has to be pumped again.
Oh.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's a good
When
point.
you shoot a shotgun, the shell casing stays in there until you rechamber a new round. So
a good point.
when you pump it, then the spent shell casing pops out.
Okay.
So
Well, for the next
it's not like he
episode-
shoots himself in the head and he's like,
For the next episode, I'm gonna get the exact shotgun model.
Yeah, we got.
So we'll know it. You know what I
we got to
mean?
get an
Yeah.
image. We'll put it up on our
Yeah.
website too, so you guys can see.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if it was a pump action.
Yeah.
We're gonna get
we also
into
have
the
the suicide
suicide
note.
There's
We
like
have the
fucking
whole
shades.
thing.
There's like edits and shit.
Yeah.
No, there's a whole lot of details that we're gonna get into next episode. That's
Yeah.
gonna get nice and
And
juicy.
we are the best detectives on earth.
We're the detectives.
The best detectives.
Okay, guys. Well, tune in next time. Definitely want to be part of part 2.
Yeah, seriously.
You know what I mean?
And once again, guys, always keep writing us. You know, this
Yeah.
this was Holly's request. We actually get a lot more. We'll do more shout outs.
Oh, yeah.
Every episode, we're going to start doing more shout outs. All the people that
Yeah.
write to us because you guys are great.
if
And,
you haven't left us a review, make sure to go to Spotify
Yeah.
or podcast wherever you listen
Yeah.
you listen to us, and leave us a review.
5 stars only.
Only if it's 5 stars. If it's not,
If it's not, just keep it to yourself.
yeah, just keep it to yourself.
I mean, honestly,
just fucking, nobody wants to hear
maybe
about
send
it.
us a DM.
You know, I'm gonna
you
get
know?
mad for a second. I mean, how can it be 1 star?
I don't think anything's
can-
one star.
yeah, like
we're at least
1 star. Come on, dude.
at least we're
Give me a
trying.
break.
1 star is for like not even trying.
Yeah, maybe if our audio didn't work.
True. Then it just like cuts out for 30 minutes.
Yeah, or it's like static. Give me a break.
I said,
1 star.
If you're gonna do 1 star, I'd much rather I'll give you like DM us. I'll give you my cell phone so you can cuss me out in person.
Yeah, there you
Just
go.
don't leave the 1 star.
Yeah.
We do love your emails and your DMs, so keep sending that in.
That's right.
Make sure to visit our website, theconspiracypodcast.com.
Catch you guys later.
99.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Conspiracy Podcast, episode 2 of Kurt Cobain.
Oh, yeah, we're going to dive deep into this one.
Deep. Getting hella deep.
Obviously, if you have not listened to part 1, you won't know what we're talking about, and you will hate it, and you will leave a 1 star, blah, 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 blah.
Which I refuse to accept.
So go back, listen to episode 1, get all the info as we dive into this. This is really the conspiracies of
Portion
everything
of it,
and
yeah.
the poor policemanship.
Policeman
Yeah.
shit.
Amongst
Exactly.
other things.
And before we get started, just want to do a quick little shout because we just want you guys to know we do look at our social media and we do see everything you guys do.
So if you guys want to hit us up too, you can either send us an email, info@theconspiracypodcast.com. Send us a DM. Just leave us a comment on our social media. That really helps a lot.
It's pretty great actually to see because we're getting about 10 emails or reaches almost a day, and it's pretty cool to see everybody's really into it and everybody's really appreciating the fact that we're taking serious subjects and we're trying to lighten that mood, but at the same time
Bring the facts.
bring the facts
Bring
and
the facts
go,
and
what is this? Like,
and
we
we're
don't need to go over the birth of Kurt Cobain, but maybe it's a good exercise to do it.
True. We do appreciate you guys see it. We're not trying to disrespect these topics, these people, these
Right,
incidents.
right. Yeah.
Like, you know, it's just, would you rather just be depressed about it? Or like, would you rather have a little fun while getting
yeah.
a little information and
Yeah.
we still get to talk about it?
Yeah.
Hopefully we entertain you guys.
Yeah.
Right? And the fact that you guys keep writing in, it makes us keep wanting to show
Oh.
up.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we got live.
Yeah. We're hella famous now.
I mean, I wouldn't say hella
Kidding me?
famous. We're like,
We're crazy famous.
crazy. If you saw, I
Crazy.
guarantee if you saw any of us in real life, you would not know who the fuck we were.
I love it though. That's the best part.
Yet.
That's the best part.
Yeah.
So the point is, we love you guys. We love the feedback. Keep it coming.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, let's go. Let's go
Okay, so
deep.
Kurt Cobain, we went over in the first episode.
Kurt Cocaine. Sorry.
We went over in the first
Very
episode
fitting.
about his life and how he rose to fame and all the way leading up to his death.
Yes.
And so here we go. So sometime on the evening of April 5th, he barricaded himself in his studio above the garage, locking one of the French doors, propping a stool against the other.
I mean, okay, real quick. Would you really call putting a stool in front of a glass French door barricading?
You're right. You're absolutely
He
right.
barricaded
I don't
himself
agree on this.
Yeah,
this
but,
point.
Yeah, but let me
Or
add,
he's ready to roll.
He put a fucking
Or is it
stool.
ready to roll?
He put
Honestly, it's a dumb stool. It's like that stool right
he
there.
put like a fold-up chair.
Yes,
Like in
yes.
front of it.
let me say this though. There was a discrepancy there about the stool because
It wasn't even there.
it was not. It was not at the door. It was in the room, but it was not at the door. Now it was reported, or it was commented as that by one of the policemen, but then it turned out to be from another one that it wasn't. So there's even
So the one policeman was like, "This is a barricade."
yeah, it's like a barricade, but then the other one's like, no, we found it in the room, but it was off over there to the side.
When you think of barricade, what do you think of?
Dude, I think of like concrete fucking
Spikes
like,
on the road. Yes.
Like there's like literally like sharpened wood.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking you don't want
Or
somebody
like
to come through. You don't want somebody
or
to
I think
come
like
in.
a bookcase is pushed in
Yeah.
front of the door. You know what I'm saying? Like
Zombie apocalypse. You just-
exactly.
Dumb shit.
Grab the
Yeah.
file cabinet, fucking
Yeah.
push it in front of the door. Like,
Quick, grab the stool.
they'll never get in. They'll never break the glass and move the stool.
Okay, so apparently he barricaded himself in the studio.
quote unquote.
And so some people call it a
Hypothetically.
studio. Yeah. Some people call it a studio. Some people call it the room above the garage. Some people call it a greenhouse.
Yeah, the
green
greenhouse,
room.
yeah.
Yeah,
Greenhouse,
exactly. So he wrote a one-page note.
Which Eric has a copy of. Let's flash it. Let's flash to the camera so they can see.
Anyways, we'll
Where do
put it
you
on
give
social
him-
media. But he wrote a one-page note, and it was addressed to Boda.
Who the fuck is that?
Can you see that?
And that's
Boda.
Boddah.
Yes,
And why
this is-
why is the A and the H capitalized?
So this is the
That's
item.
isn't that weird?
So this is the item, and I'll show you. Basically, it was poked like this in the garden, just sitting there.
Nice.
That's when the police
Your
walked
little
in.
little garden bed or whatever.
Yeah, a little
in there.
garden.
I mean, I guess the thing is, like, this is handwritten, and this is some of the shittiest handwriting I've ever seen. So it might
Yeah.
be real easy to.
So apparently, Boda was an imaginary friend when he was a kid, when his parents got divorced.
So he wrote this to an imaginary friend.
I don't
That's
know.
even more sketch.
So it was propped in a mound of dirt
Did
from an
he?
overturned plant.
Supposedly.
He smoked a few cigarettes, drank a can of root beer, then injected himself with a cocktail of heroin and Valium.
Wow.
He then put the drug paraphernalia back into the cigar box. So the needles, the drug, the spoon, the cord, and he put it back in
Everything's,
the
like,
cigar
put back
box.
neatly
Yeah,
in the
he
box.
laid it in. He
But-
laid
but-
down 2 towels and a brown corduroy jacket. Now this is debatable. He opened his wallet to show his driver's license.
To show
So-
it to where?
Like so,
The world?
So if you're,
you got
you know
like
how
a-
you have your driver's license in the first one, you maybe slide it up, right? Some people say that he did that to show people what his to verify his body because he was shooting himself in the head. But
I want to say like it's like Kim Kardashian like dies and they're like, who is this? Who could this be?
but some
who is this person?
but per one report from a cop, they were the ones who pulled it out to see who it was to verify the
yeah,
body.
they were like, oh, it's his wallet. Let's
that
check.
makes more sense.
That makes way more
So
sense.
they pulled it out of the wallet, and
they're
then
like-
they placed it there so they could
Yes.
take a picture of it.
Okay, blonde hair. This is Kurt Cobain's house.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, but
they'll never know who
They
it is.
didn't know that.
They
though.
didn't know that,
They
yeah.
didn't know that. They
They
just
would
get a
fi-
call.
They would find.
They just got a call
It'd
from
be
the
really
electrician.
easy
I
for
know.
them to find
It
out.
would be
though.
very easy.
If it's registered to him, sure, but maybe it wasn't. The point is, they didn't know when they showed up.
They didn't know, and that was the paramedics. Remember, he said nobody knew actually who it was, and
He
that
was
sort of
he
thing.
was barricaded. in
So
there.
he then reached for his Remington M11, which we then determined.
Yeah, we did determine because I know. So in episode 1, I did make a comment on whether or not it was a pump action shotgun or a tactical-esque shotgun. So we did confirm that this Remington is
Automatic?
It's a recoil action shotgun. So meaning the recoil of the gun when you shoot it cycles the next round. So
Okay.
it does automatically spit out a shell casing after firing.
Right.
Yeah.
So you pull a trigger, boom.
Yeah, the recoil
Spits out
the
the shell.
recoil of the gun causes the action to then load another shell into the chamber.
Right.
Yeah.
So
okay.
therefore expelling the spent shell casing.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we did clarify that.
We clarified that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So apparently he was laying on the floor, and he grabbed the shotgun, and with the shotgun stock gripped between his sneakers, so between his feet, right, and using his thumb, and the shotgun
right
was
hand.
inverted, and no, with his left hand.
I think
Or
it's
it might have been, it might have been his right
hand.
hand.
No, you
But his
said the left hand was gripping the stock.
The barrel. Yeah. And so then he pulled the trigger with his thumb.
Right.
But
Then
the gun was inverted, so
Yes.
therefore the shell casing should shoot out to the right hand side.
That's right. But the
Right.
shell was found on his clothes on the left hand side.
Which is improbable. It's like physics doesn't ricochet the shell casing to the side. Unless he was facing the other way and then like he like spiraled, fell down after he shot his head.
Or is it possible that like the shotgun could have turned around as it shot?
There you go. That is
I mean,
one
I guess
theory.
it's possible. I mean, I don't
So
know
would
the
it
physics
flip?
of that, but no, like just turn, hits a thing, and
Right,
like,
so let's- it was
turn-
not
and then it's
inverted.
Like, it turns in his hand. He's like holding. He's like, and then
Yeah.
then it turns.
Yeah.
That's I guess that's possible. That seems possible. Yeah. No, I mean,
But
not probable.
instantaneously, wouldn't his hands clasp out of reflex?
no,
No?
no, because if
don't know.
let's say if you shoot yourself, for example, so if you the I think it's the amygdala, or whatever, like the thing that.
Dula ma'ablagama.
No, so it's like the thing at the bottom. So if you get shot there, there's no all action stopped. There is no. The
So it's not a reflex thing.
no
It's not
synapses
like
don't fire. It's like nothing happens.
It's not like when the
you're-
doctor bangs my thing.
No.
And I go like that.
No, I don't think there would be any reflexive
the
action.
thing in your knee?
So
And
if
the-
anything,
and the
it's
His hand was gripping it because it's rigor
rigor
mortis.
mortis,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah.
the blood is actually congealing, so then his hand becomes like
so
a
that's
stone.
the 2 days.
Yeah, that's
that
the 2 days. The
goes
2
by-
days holding it.
Yeah.
makes it like a rock.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay.
So it's totally possible.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
it is possible.
I mean, yeah, when you shoot a shotgun, like you get some good recoil
Dude.
out of that.
So his suicide note. Okay. A couple things on the suicide note. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's a bit.
First of all, I can't really read it.
Yeah.
well, I have
First
it.
of all.
I have it
I can read
transcribed.
I can read the first one
Yeah,
speaking.
I have
I
it
can read
transcribed.
Buddha.
But
Buddha.
so a majority of it is about his music and to his fans. And so the first 4 paragraphs are about how he's talking about how he didn't enjoy the fame.
He's like, "This is your fault."
So he
I don't
says,
like you. I
no,
didn't
no,
want
no.
you to love
He's
me.
actually very apologetic, and he's just very much. He's like, for example, when we're backstage and the lights go out and the manic roar of the crowds begin, it doesn't affect me the way in which it did Freddie Mercury, who seemed to love and relish in the love and adoration from the crowd, which is something I admire and envy. The fact is, I can't fool you, any one of you. It simply isn't fair to me. The worst crime I can think of would be to rip people off by faking it and pretending as if I'm having 100% fun. So he's saying he didn't like it. He didn't really dig it the way Freddie Mercury did.
Yeah.
And he just didn't like it.
Like,
And he didn't want to be a
fucking
fake.
Feed off of it. Like,
Yeah, he didn't wanna be a
it's like
fake about
fucking
it.
Prince, and he's like, "Worship me, bitch."
Yeah.
So it sounds like he just loved the
He's
music
like the
and
music.
the art.
Yeah, he should have been a
And not-
ghostwriter. He
Yeah,
should've
yeah,
like-
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, and now here's where conspiracy theories jump in, right? So here's the theory. The theory is that he took heroin
Yes.
mid this letter.
Oh, for sure. Because you can see how the writing just gets progressively smaller.
Yes.
This is like Willy Wonka's contract.
So, but conspiracy
It's like-
conspiracy theorists say that the second half of the letter was written by somebody else.
The second half?
Well, the second, like the
it-
bottom
You mean
portion.
the bottom?
Oh,
Yeah.
like for Frances, for her life.
you
Do you
could
see how it just changes
Yeah.
font?
Yeah,
it changes all the things.
yes.
True.
I would say that that's somebody else.
Yeah, but like at the end, it's like Frances and Courtney, I'll be at your altar. Then it's like completely different font.
Yes.
Yeah, completely different.
But the end stuff doesn't really like. It's not really compelling. It just says, "Please keep going, Courtney, for Frances, for her life, which will be so much happier without me." Okay, really?
Yeah. I mean, that's the
I
that's
love
the
you.
words of a suicide,
That's
right?
true. Well, I don't know what the rest is. Is anything in the rest kind of alluding to death?
No.
Oh,
I mean, he does at the end of him talking about his music. The last 3 paragraphs are about, I have a goddess of a wife who sweats ambition and empathy, and a daughter who reminds me too much of what I used to be. Full of love and joy, kissing every person she meets because everyone is good and will do her no harm. Anyways, you get the idea.
I mean,
he's saying, I have it good, I'm grateful, but since the age of 7, I've become hateful and towards humans in general,
I mean, I do think that
which is around the time when his parents were divorcing, and I don't know.
True.
You know what I mean?
I do think that it does seem like a genuine letter for the most part, because like all the typos that just like scratched out. Thank you for that. Makes it way more realistic. He's like, fucking nope. Scratch that out and then keep writing.
So here's the info on it. What was found by the aunt of Cobain
Okay.
in Courtney's handbag
Oh.
was practice handwriting sheet.
No way.
Yeah.
What?
And this is in that documentary, right?
Yeah.
Of Soaked in Bleach.
Soaked in
Like
bleach,
her
yeah.
practicing his handwriting?
It's debatable. You know, practice handwriting, right? And then
like
it was
like a notebook for
practicing handwriting.
Yeah.
That's
to
a little
kind
creepy.
of
That's a little sketchy.
Yeah. So then it's Kurt Cobain's suicide note was analyzed by handwriting experts who unanimously agree that the first portion and the bulk of the letter appears to be Kurt addressing his fans and discussing why he's choosing to quit.
Oh, so he's like, I'm taking time off. Like, I can't do this. I love you.
Not
like,
a suicide note.
He's
but
like, I'm done.
This is the letter that he was writing to quit Nirvana.
That makes sense because I don't know why they got so much bigger in the end.
Right.
It
So the
seems like
only
it's
part-
completely different.
Yeah, the only a part that alludes to suicide is actually the part that looks like a different handwriting
Oh,
style.
also look at I think even the top part, like even the two Buddha thing.
That's
is,
right,
Is,
that's right.
Is so much different. Look at the top, Eric. The two Buddha.
Yeah,
it's
different.
Those are it's
Yeah.
added.
So there's two sides. One is the conspiracy side, which is somebody else wrote it, and they took part of what he did write and just put it together. You know,
and then
added to it. Or the other side, which is that he was high as fuck.
Yeah, he's also on heroin. So it's-
Yeah, but like, I mean, if you,
I mean,
if
just
you
imagine
shoot
you-
up, if
okay,
you shoot
let's-
up heroin, like you normally
Are
like,
you
you're just-
functional?
Yeah, exactly. Are you? No, right? Not to write a note.
No.
I mean, when you're doing heroin on the level that he was, sure. I mean, look at all those crazy rock stars that would be performing. They do a whole concert, fucking high on heroin. Can you bet? I can't even look at a guitar, let alone like play it. And they're like singing and playing and
true.
like sweating and
He
like dancing.
remember
like,
he OD'd
a good
and
point.
then
he OD'd, then did a
then when he
concert.
did a show.
Are you kidding me?
Jesus Christ.
I can't even. I have a hard time taking care of my kid when I'm hungover. Like, Jesus Christ!
I'm not even gonna
And
be
I'm
able
not
to-
even doing
yeah.
heroin. I'm drinking beer, Miller Lights.
Honestly, I don't even think I can mow the lawn tomorrow. I don't think that's gonna
It's too
happen.
much. It's too much.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I don't know,
believe
that-
he can do it.
that's-
I think he can do it.
So they have handwriting experts saying that it's two different people.
True. My
And
other
then
thing is
they have people saying that.
Unanimously.
Yeah. So
saying
it's-
that.
I do think that he has been doing heroin for a very long time, and I think he's.
So his tolerance.
I
is
think
like,
he can function while doing it.
Wow. Okay.
I do believe that. I do believe that.
okay.
All right. Well, that leads into a perfect next one.
No, that's just a fucking layup.
Yeah. So interestingly enough, Courtney Love hired a PI, and this PI was named Tom Grant. And this is a majority of what this documentary or movie is, and it's called Soaked in Bleach. Jorge did their homework. Sean didn't.
First of all, they didn't tell me about this shit, and then I literally found out mid recording this.
Yeah.
They're like, "You didn't watch it?" I was like, "No one. Where's my message?"
Yeah. Well, you know.
You know,
like
when you want to get ready,
It was
you
like
do your own research.
what's the word? It was obvious.
First of all, Jorge, when's the last episode that you did, bro? You gonna step your game up, Playboy. Even the ones I did.
It's like the
It
only
TV.
one.
That was like episode 4.
I know.
We're on episode 40.
Okay, so she hired somebody by the name of Tom Grant as the private investigator. And his theory is that Courtney Love arranged his murder. And
Like she didn't do it, but she set it up.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. So
Okay.
Did he ever have to go to court or anything about this, or no? It was just like
he never really provided enough evidence that
Yeah,
the
he was
police,
just, he was just like,
bring
that the-
something against
that
her.
the police would do anything about it. Whether or not
it's like me
which is
saying
another
like
thing they were probably going to get into, like the
Yeah.
shitty job that police.
yeah.
worse than OJ.
Okay, so the biggest argument in Grant's theory is in his toxicology report. It came back that he had 1.52 milligrams per liter of
Heroin.
morphine levels, which is the measurement of heroin.
Is that a lot? I have no idea. Is that like
Wait,
hella?
is morphine the same thing as heroin? What? I'm confused.
Heroin is an opioid drug made from morphine.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
So it's
Okay.
the base. It's like the base
Right.
Yeah.
measurement. You know what I mean? Yeah, because they don't.
So it's like morphine is like the pure, like the fucking
Yeah.
root.
Yeah.
And then like
Yeah.
it's just
so
like
that's how they
a
measure it.
lesser form.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's 1.52 milligrams per liter, right? And there was Valium in his blood as well.
No, but do we know, is it like mad high?
Yeah. So
I don't
per
know.
grant, it's 7 times the fatal dose.
Jesus Christ.
7 times.
7
Oh, so he
times.
should have just, maybe he was already dead.
So that's his argument is 1.52. It's 7 times what would kill me.
I mean, that's probably 20 times what would kill any of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So straight up.
So the idea stems from that, which is then, okay, if he did the heroin, he couldn't have written the note,
No.
or at least the note was written well ahead.
Oh,
and
okay,
in addition, he couldn't have put it back in the box.
No. Hell no. Yeah.
And then he couldn't have gotten in that position and then shot himself.
Oh, so that makes sense.
And barricaded the door. I mean, all these things, you know.
Well, he could have barricaded the door
and then
done
done
the
all
note,
the stuff.
then
Yeah.
shot himself up with heroin. But then, are you that,
Capable of all
Yeah,
this
are you
stuff.
that capable still of the motor controls of sitting down and putting a shotgun to your head and pulling a trigger? With 7
'Cause he
times,
put it all
with 7
away.
times the legal, or
So
not the legal,
he
but
put
the,
it all away.
the lethal
So you're
limit.
You're cooking it.
Oh, yeah, don't
all the
forget.
stuff. I don't know how to do it. You know what I mean? And
I
then you
don't
inject
know.
it, and then it's instant.
It's straight
I
in
know
your blood.
heroin
It's
is
straight in your
immediate.
It's straight in your bloodstream.
I know.
He's literally almost at like close to half an ounce of heroin,
Yeah.
which seems like a fucking exorbitant. That's a lot of heroin. Like,
So now, obviously, he's been doing it years.
but it's a half an ounce of heroin.
Yeah. So that's the biggest part.
That's what I'm saying. That does seem like a lot.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely a lot.
Yeah.
It's 7 times the lethal
Yeah.
fucking limit. 7 times.
I don't know if he was like writing a letter
I know.
on that deep. Maybe he wrote it before he was deep.
That's what I'm saying. So
He could have wrote it before.
so that could have happened.
He could have wrote it before.
had
really,
to. How can you
really? Can you? Do you put it all away and tuck it away? All
So maybe he
nice?
did it and then
You, you smoke a cigarette.
No.
Shotgun. You load it.
No way.
But then you put it into the garden in the thing.
with the stab
No
it into the
way.
garden.
No way. No
and
way.
then
No way.
And then you load the shotgun, you lay down, you put all your shit away into the box, and then pull the trigger.
Not with 7 times. Not with, no.
Jorge,
If you're talking about like
So the
a
argu-
normal, regular amount of heroin, a normal, regular.
I just don't think. I just don't know.
Where you
because
can
just
still
basing it all in
maybe you can still
movies.
function a little
I'm
bit.
basing it all in movies where they put it in and
I
they
know,
go,
me too.
That's what
And
I'm
they
saying.
can't move.
I have to be the voice of saying it because none of us have done heroin, so none of us really know
That's
what it's
true.
like.
That's a
Especially,
good point.
And none of us have done heroin for 10 years.
That's
Like-
another good point.
you
Good,
know?
good point.
So I
Sean.
don't know how like functioning heroin addicts operate because I just don't know. I know if he was at 7 times the legal limit of Miller Lights. He's not right now. He's not right
Miller
now.
Lights.
well, one thing that is against the conspiracy of it is that there's 2 types of measurements. One is called free morphine count, and the other is called total morphine count. Okay?
Okay.
And so some forensic studies have been done where free morphine count would measure the immediate morphine that has not been broken down by
Yeah,
proteins.
just like not metabolized.
That's right.
Yeah.
So those measurements are different because
Of course, because your body will eventually break down anything.
yeah,
that
so
goes
you
into
could
the
have done
system
it
then.
a day ago, and there's still some in there.
Yeah.
and that's part of the total morphine account, but not part of the free morphine account.
Okay.
Right. So when they did the toxicology report, they did not specify if it was free or total.
Oh, so meaning that could have been this residual.
Could have been from 4 days ago.
Yeah, it's like he's been pumping it up for fucking days, and they're like, oh, it's total morphine counts. Hella, that seems plausible.
Okay.
So
That's
it's just the anti argument. You know what I mean? Yeah. Jorge's
Which you love to
Jorge's
take.
like, fuck you.
Jorge actually stopped. Jorge stopped listening 30 seconds ago.
of which, yeah. So of which the survivable free morphine count is 0.12.
But he was at 1.5.
Right.
0.12.
But he was at
And he was at
1.5.
1.2.
Okay.
But the total is different. You see how they're just different calculations?
Yeah. Okay.
And so we don't know which one was what.
So even if it was even if he was at, Because like even if
He's at 1.2.
and it was in the free morphine count that's like deadly is like 0.1 point.
0.12.
So he's still 12x. The fucking like he's like.
But we don't know. So it continues to this day.
I think
we don't
either-
know if it was free or total morphine.
My
count.
thing is, I think either way, it's still a fuckload of morphine. Like
It's a lot.
In either
No,
count,
it's a lot. It's a lot. But the lower one would be functional. Because it would be 0.12.
For a normal person, or
No, for him. For a drug addict.
No, they were just they
for
were
a drug
they were
addict.
saying
Okay.
no. So his free morphine count at the time was 0.12.
We don't know. It's either 1.25, but we don't know if it was free
No, I'm
or
saying no,
total.
No, but no, you were saying like the lower number would have been functional if it was 0.12.
If it's free morphine count is 0.12 is fatal.
Yeah.
If it's total,
What's
then
fatal?
it's much more.
we
It's
know
like 5.
okay.
You
That's
see
why
there's a
okay.
difference? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
So
it's
if it was-
confusing.
so if it was
Yeah.
total, he would have been functioning.
fucking-
He'd have been like just
You would've been
wasted,
high
but
as
like
shit. Yeah.
Okay,
But we don't know.
I understand that.
Yeah, because the toxicology report
because they
didn't
did
specify.
They did a super thorough job.
Yeah. Honestly, do you remember how you had the test and it was the cheap one?
Yeah, and they're like
everybody's
And they're
positive.
like, yeah, no, and they're 8 out of 10 of these are wrong.
But it's
but it's like $4.99. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take that one. Yeah, I'm gonna take that one.
they're like inconclusive.
Yeah.
Like what?
So you see how I'm not saying it's for or against, but we just
We
don't
just don't
know.
know. We
We just don't know.
Yeah. And they just didn't give a fuck.
They did a poor. This is actually early on in the whole forensic files land. The early '90s. It wasn't quite.
There wasn't like hot. It wasn't
Yeah.
streamlined.
So I don't know. And he was high.
Oh, 100%. He was high.
For sure.
He was
was
totally
high.
high. I'm not,
Yeah.
no one's
debating
No
that.
one's refuting the
Yeah.
fact that he was high.
He was high.
100% high.
But the question then is, because that's the biggest part of Tom Grant's conspiracy,
Was that the levels were
so high that he
yeah.
couldn't even do anything. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, a couple other things. Yeah, the shotgun. So it's a Remington Model 20 gauge shotgun. It was purchased by Dylan for him.
His homie. Like,
Yeah.
fucking- That guy probably feels like shit.
And like we had
know,
said,
right?
oh, so bad. Like we had said, Cobain didn't want to purchase the gun in his name because he thought the police might seize it because they seized the other guns before it.
Yeah.
Right? The police had taken away his guns twice in the previous 10 months.
Twice. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was just the one time.
Yeah,
King-
we only knew about one.
King County medical examiner noted puncture wounds on the inside of both the right and left elbows.
So like puncture wounds from like needles?
Unknown.
Why would I would inject it
elbow.
into your elbow.
Unknown. That's all I got.
Okay.
The day of finding the body, they didn't check for fingerprints. So
They're
they
like,
walked
"Suicide."
in. They walked in, yes.
And they were like
totally
they were
right.
touching everything. Like,
Totally right.
We don't need gloves.
They're like, this is suicide.
yeah, they're like suicide.
Oh yeah.
100%.
They didn't have like protocols back
So
then.
they didn't check for fingerprints. So then, later on, May 6th, 1994, they decided to check for fingerprints.
Yeah, but I'll say one thing. I mean,
May 6th is a month later, just so we're all clear.
Yeah. But the guys that showed up, so the police that showed up that ruled it a suicide. One thing we left out: Courtney Love had called the police to report him as a missing person,
Yeah.
but she filed a report under the mom's name.
That's right.
What?
Yes,
2 or 3 days earlier.
2 or 3 days earlier, and she said that the mom says right, but she said to the cops, "I think he's suicidal." And so they were so by the time they show up there, they're already kind of
Suicide.
colored or whatever you call it, right? Like with this preconception of like, oh, it's a suicide. Like,
Yeah.
this guy's suicidal.
Why would she file it? That's a little sketch with under the mom's name.
Yeah.
Well, she says that it was like to keep her name out of the press and
Oh, you're not fucking relevant anymore. I'm sorry. Like,
She was at the time, though.
Yeah,
not
she
at
definitely
that,
was.
Not at that time.
dude.
She was. I
no,
thought
she
She
was.
was, dude.
Yeah,
Whole?
yeah, she still was 100%.
Never heard whole.
So on the fingerprints, they then ran the prints, but there was not a single print that was verifiable.
Yeah, it's a month
There were
later.
smudged prints, of which then they also determined that it was wiped.
Well, I mean, it's also like
But it's a month later.
it's a month later. Like the
But
oils.
at the same time, it's wiped.
But it could
So
have been
conspiracy theorists go, the fucking gun was wiped.
Well, it could have
Right.
been from them touching things. They're like, yeah, they're touching.
So
That's explainable to me.
So
It's been a month.
they fucked up on the crime scene. Is what you're
Yeah,
saying? And then
exactly.
so
Yeah, it's been a month. It's been a fucking month. You know how many people have been touching everything in there?
True.
Like,
It doesn't work either.
it doesn't
way.
help. Yeah, it just
Yeah.
fucks everything up. Yeah.
But that's a huge part of the conspiracy, which is that there were no fingerprints and it was wiped.
Yeah.
So obviously you can't kill yourself with no fingerprints, and somebody wiped it. You know, it's a straight movie where they, you know,
Well, here's the other thing
You know?
that I would like to know, because we have to look at things scientifically.
dude.
So
Sean has turned a leaf. I mean, we're at episode 40
Eric is
or something. But episode 1, he was like, "Motherfucking conspiracy, alien come down now." Hip.
so, first of all, Eric's been
everything conspiracy.
for the last 7 years, Eric's been trying to convert me over to not believing conspiracy
Honestly, he
theories.
is now more.
He's being scientific.
All I need now
all of a
is you,
sudden.
and then we're in.
No. I will never fully convert. But I do have to look at it from his perspective. Okay, it's been a month.
Yeah.
So you're able to take fingerprints because it's the oils in the skin that leave the fingerprint.
Yeah.
How long do those last on a surface? I don't know.
I don't know the answer.
If it's like a month before it dissipates, you can't be like, oh, well, there's no fingerprint. Well, if it was a month later and the oils don't last that long, well, then that's why.
But
I don't know.
fingerprints last forever?
No, they don't. That is
You don't know.
that is a lie. They do not last forever.
Like,
No, not forever. Okay, fine, not forever. But that's a good question. How long?
if we find Jesus's cloth, like, you know, the cloth, you know, the
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking.
yeah. If his finger's on there, is it on there? I don't know the answer.
There's no scientific way to know how long a latent fingerprint will last. That's what I got.
Could be. Okay.
So
All right.
fingerprints have been developed on porous surfaces 40 years and later after their deposition. On non-porous surfaces, they can also last a very long time.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Well, a couple points of just finances. Let's talk finances for a second, yeah?
Okay.
Yeah. So Kurt Cobain died without a will. So upon his death, half of his worth and future earnings were put into a trust estate for his daughter, Frances. We kind of mentioned that.
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah.
The other half was given to Courtney Love because they were still married. They didn't go through with a divorce.
Okay.
Yeah. At that time, it was estimated around $120 million. Today, the entire estate is nearly $500 million.
But it's also worth noting that he did call his lawyer
That's right, he did.
Oh,
Yeah,
to try to remove Courtney from his will, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But didn't that happen back in Rome, like back in that time period?
When he was, I'm going to divorce her. I want
That's
to
right.
quit Nirvana, all that stuff. Yeah. Yeah. But apparently those documents were brought up, but he didn't sign it.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that's why it didn't execute.
Do we know when it was brought up? Like,
Maybe it was high.
During the Rome time.
Oh,
it was
okay.
during the Rome time.
So
So
it's
it was
not like
recent.
a day before.
No, but it was a
Wait,
couple months.
wait.
Yeah.
Wait,
Couple
it was
months,
during the
yeah.
Rome time.
Yeah.
So maybe it's during the Rome time and she's like, we're hypnol.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't sign it.
Absolutely.
We're hypnol.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, go sleep. Go to sleep, bitch.
So it was well known. So it was well known that Kurt was unhappy with their marriage and he wanted to divorce her. Mm-hmm. If he did do that, she stood to inherit nothing. They had a prenup.
That is a strong motive.
That's what I'm
Money
saying.
is motivation.
Strong.
Although, so they never signed it. So he died. She got everything aside from what Frances got. So she got the rights to his music, his name, his image, his likeness, and she was set for pretty much.
If she's, what do you mean pretty much? If you're not set for life with $100 million, like you are a piece of shit. Like
Kurt
Jesus.
Kurt Cobain is one of the highest grossing dead musicians in history.
But really, okay.
Here's what's crazy. So if you remember the dates, he was only famous for like 3
6
years.
yeah,
Not
3 years,
even.
3 years.
Yes.
Like nothing. That's nothing.
That's 0 years.
And he died at 27.
That's like nothing amount of time, but
Yeah.
the level of famous was definitely high. It was up there.
But everybody benefited. His managers, record label.
Oh yeah, they're all
Everybody.
Everyone's
Yeah. And he, I mean, from sources, he wanted to quit.
he was done.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't Courtney. Maybe it was the record company. They're like, he's gonna quit, and they're like, kill him.
So here's a couple of theories.
Isn't there a thing of the 27? Like,
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
yeah,
part of
that's
the
another
27.
thing.
Yeah, he's part of the 27.
So he died when he was 27.
27.
There's a lot of other rock stars that have died from 20 at the age of
Throw 'em
27.
out. Throw them out. Who are they?
From
James
overdose
Dean.
specifically, right?
James
Yeah, maybe
Dean.
it was
Who else are they?
We got members of the club: Kurt Cobain,
Jimi
Brian
Hendrix.
Jones, Jim Morrison, Amy Winehouse,
Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix,
Robert Johnson.
Jimi Hendrix. There you
Jim
go.
Morrison.
Jim Morrison. Okay, so there was a person and a musician who went by the stage name of El Duce.
El
And he
El
came
Duce.
forward. Yeah, he came forward after Kurt's death and claimed that Courtney Love offered him $50K to murder Kurt and then to stage it as a suicide.
Wait, who is this guy though? Like,
He's someone
El
trying.
Duce.
He's someone trying to get famous.
Yeah, exactly.
But here's what's crazy.
El
Here's what's
Duce.
crazy. He turned her down because he didn't think she was serious.
But he would have accepted if he thought she was serious.
After Kurt's
If you're
death,
serious, I would take it.
After Kurt's death, he came forward and spoke about it in an interview that
In
was
a bio-
live.
in a biopic.
And he accidentally let a name slip named Alan. He's like, "Oh, whoops, Alan. Oh, Alan took the contract."
Alan, who?
he
I
said
know
that?
he didn't say. We don't know.
He said took the contract.
Yes. So,
Oops,
but
it
then, so
Whoopsie.
he passed a lie detector test too, which
is
take
not
that for
admissible
what
in
it is,
court.
yeah.
and means nothing.
So then, right after that, mysteriously, he passed out on a railroad track and was beheaded by a train.
What?
I'm sorry. Who in the entire history of mankind has passed out on a railroad track? I'm just gonna take a little nap on the railroad track.
Did he happen to have 7 times the lethal
legal
limit?
Isn't that so
Fucking
weird?
heroin.
He had a pound of heroin in his system. He was taking a little nappy nap. on the fucking-
So local investigators, local PIs, local podcast listeners, they looked into it and they found somebody by the name of Alan Wrench, who is believed to be the hitman that Courtney Love wound up hiring.
Dude, the fact that this guy fell
What?
asleep on the railroad tracks. That's the sloppiest
Isn't
job
this
of killing a
crazy?
dude
I
ever.
know. So that's one of
That's wild.
I'm just
that's
exhausted.
That's a conspiracy.
First of all, you
there.
gotta find railroad tracks. You gotta go search them out. You gotta go
Also,
literally-
you couldn't move enough to not be beheaded.
Or you're just gonna
mean-
sleep on the rocks next to the railroad? Like, what the fuck?
Oh God!
I'm just gonna lay down. I'm just gonna lay down on the track with my
It's
head
not
right
like
there.
you're being beheaded by a knife. You're being
By a train. Jeez. It might actually be faster.
Wow.
Sorry, buddy.
So that's super sketch.
Sorry, El Duce.
El Duce.
Duce.
El Duce.
D-U-C-E.
It's Duce.
Douche?
Duce?
Well,
Deuce?
Eric,
Deuce?
Deuce?
Maybe it's just deuce.
Maybe it's a Duque.
A Deuce.
Deuce.
A Deuce. A Deuce.
You're trying to like fancy it up with douche.
It's D-U-C-E. I don't... Like he's like number 2?
Yeah.
Well, Deuce is D-U-E-C.
Alan Deuce.
Okay, another...
Dutchy.
Yeah, another... Okay, here's another conspiracy. It's rumored that Kristen Pfaff...
Fuff.
It's P-F-A-F-F.
Okay.
Yeah?
Sounds
Did I
right.
work it
Yeah,
out?
sounds right.
Worked out right?
Sounds right.
Yeah.
So it's rumored that Kristen, who was the bassist in Courtney Love's band Hole, was secretly in love with Kurt, and they wanted to desperately get away from Courtney and the drug scene. After Kurt's death, she was devastated. She quit Hole, moved back to her hometown in Minnesota, got sober, and recuperated. 2 months later, she returned to Seattle to pick up the last of her belongings and say goodbye, but she never left. And the day of her departure, she was found in her bathroom, overdosed on heroin.
Oh, God.
Was this before or after his death?
After
His death. After his death.
So she was distraught by his death.
Oh, okay.
Quit Hole. She
Okay.
quit Hole.
Got it.
The band, and then went to Seattle, overdosed. And there's even evidence that Courtney yelled at her in front of everybody, saying, "Stay away from Kurt."
I mean, I can see like her being in love with him, but I don't necessarily believe that one.
Now, in the documentary, what's it called again?
Soaked in
Something
bleach.
Soaked in bleach.
Yeah.
So
I
Tom,
don't like that name. I really don't like it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like fucking gargling bleach, like drowning. I'm like, oh, it's too much.
In the documentary, they go over how Courtney was very jealous of the relationship, or of at least them like talking and getting closer or whatever. So
Sure.
I don't know, just to mention that she was very.
I can see that her being. She wants that cash, bro.
She seems like a jealous.
She seems like a,
Yeah, she's like very
cash hungry.
stage 3
jealous and
clinger.
controlling.
Yeah,
At least that's how they describe her.
yeah.
Makes sense. I mean,
And soaked in bleach.
she was soaked in bleach.
So lastly, in 2014, the Seattle Police Department decided to develop 4 rolls of film that had been in the evidence vault
For 18 years.
and release them.
Jesus.
So you can go see those. But it's really just photos of like his Converse and the window and
It's nothing. It's just like the wall.
Honestly, and the guy, you remember I showed you the photo of the guy with the shotgun? That was one of them.
Oh, okay.
And, so nothing.
Nothing special.
Yeah. And then his FBI file was released recently. Nothing special. 2 pages of nothing.
Yeah.
Really. So there you go. That's Kurt Cobain.
That's interesting because like when at the time, again, according to this documentary, you guys got to watch that too if you haven't seen it. So Tom, the PI, he was trying to investigate still what was going on. He goes to the police department trying to just find out what's up with these pictures, what's up with these photos, what you guys find out, this and that. And they were basically telling him, we're not releasing them. We're not even developing them.
Yeah.
Forget about it. Just like forget about these pictures. Like we're not.
Shut
they're
up.
not
Leave us
coming out.
alone.
But that's crazy.
I don't mean to be morbid, but I think it would be relevant to see what he looked like.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
Like his autopsy photo.
Well, yeah.
Because we don't even know if it was in his neck
Or
if
his
it was
mouth,
head,
yeah, I don't know.
we have no idea.
Right.
All we do know is that the
He got
paramedics.
shot by a shotgun.
Yeah, but remember the paramedics were like, yeah, you could still see that it was him.
Yeah, but also wasn't the autopsy?
I mean, a shotgun's insane.
Yeah.
I know. It's like, do you get shot in the arm with a
Yeah.
shotgun?
That seems
And
unreasonable.
the fact that there wasn't a lot of blood is kind of weird.
yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
a shotgun just causes all kinds
But
of
what's
blood.
a lot of blood? Like who said that?
Yeah, that's a good point.
We don't know. We don't really know how much.
Maybe it was like a lot of blood to me.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
to me,
That's what
I'm
I'm
like,
saying.
there was hella blood everywhere.
I was gonna say though, the autopsy wasn't made public, and it's
Yeah.
it's supposed to be
Still.
supposed to be public record. It's
Not
supposed-
in
but
Aberdeen.
exactly.
Yeah,
which
not
is
in Aberdeen
strange.
or Seattle.
But everywhere
Not
else.
in
Everywhere else.
not-
Tampa, that shit would be everywhere.
Not in wood country.
Yeah. It's actually very abnormal for it to not be
right.
public.
Yeah, that was very strange.
Yeah.
Anyways, and also, so we were talking about the shotgun shell being on the wrong side of the body.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if he had
That one seems to be the hole.
it does.
Doesn't it?
I mean,
Yeah.
I do think. I guess it is technically possible for the gun to rotate in his hand,
Or maybe a ricochet.
but off of
Oh.
what? Off of
Well, that's what I was gonna say. The only thing, so I was thinking in my head, okay, so if you're holding it with your feet, right, at the
Yeah.
bottom, and then you pull the trigger, maybe it bounced off of his knee.
arm or something. Yeah,
No,
like-
his knee or something, because like
and it's like
or
he's
his
hold-
leg,
yeah.
or his leg, whatever, like right, and then it bounced to the other side. Like that's the
Well, no,
only
it could have
explanation
been his
I
arm
can
too,
think of.
because like he was holding it with his left hand,
Oh,
hit it
true,
with his right hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess I guess that's
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
Oh,
It is a little weird though that they didn't
It's
find him.
it's
for-
weird.
But
Yeah.
but it's also weird they didn't find him for 2 days.
I'm like, when they start
You
to
know-
smell dead body,
you know
like
what's strange?
it's almost like a corpse in
You know
here.
what's strange is those people were living there.
Right. That's what's strange.
Can you imagine just living there for 2
For 2
days?
days?
There's a
Which-
dead body upstairs.
Which, by the way, who's living there was again.
Callie,
he was the
yeah,
ex-boyfriend.
Callie and I think even Dylan stayed there, or Dylan showed
Oh, he did.
Tom Grant around.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right. They did
showed
go.
Him, they tried to find him.
They try to find him.
Yeah.
They show up at the house. They're looking for him. They were looking for the shotgun too.
Needless
That's
to
why.
say-
That's why they showed up at the house because Dylan's like, I got to go. Check out to see if the shotgun's there or whatever. Because I heard Courtney called me and she said that he's suicidal.
I just gotta
Right?
say, this guy has to be the worst PI. He literally couldn't find the guy. He was in
know,
his
dude.
own house.
That is embarrassing.
Where is he?
That
He's
is
literally in
embarrassing.
his own house. Like you
Also-
can't find the guy.
also-
Now it wasn't just
also
to
there
just to
was one
clarify.
story,
Just to
yeah.
clarify real quick on where he was not in the house. It was like
separate-
It was
It
like a
was-
separate
it was
thing.
a room
like
above
a
the
mother-in-law
garage.
It was a,
suite.
a room above the
A room
garage,
above the garage.
that
But still, he went there
supposedly,
twice.
according to the,
He went there twice.
You could have
Oh, you went
checked
there
it out.
twice?
Like,
Oh, I didn't know that.
I
part.
figured private investigators would be like, first things first. Let's just like
You would
search,
check everywhere.
let's
and
just
you-
search the property.
The super embarrassing part of the story is that so he's searching for him for like 2 days. He can't find him, right? Like can't find Kurt.
The guy's waxing it for expenses.
So then the electrician comes and he looks, and the electrician, like a bonehead, he doesn't even call the cops. He calls a radio station.
Oh, that's right.
And he goes, hey, there's like a rock star dead.
Oh my God, what a douche.
So then the PI is in his car
Listening
listening
to
to
the
the radio. And he's like, oh, I'm looking for him. And it was super embarrassing.
Hey, do we know who called the electrician out there?
No, I don't think
What,
so.
you know,
I don't know. Yeah, but
I wonder
that'd
who
be
did.
an interesting.
It's like, hey, I
it's
need
probably
I-
Courtney.
yeah,
right.
Oh, for sure.
And she and what did she
Probably
say? She's
Courtney.
like, oh, go in the greenhouse. I need something fixed in there.
Yeah.
Like,
She's like, the electrical in there is a little spotty.
I had a light bulb go out. Go, go check out the greenhouse.
Here's a $500 deposit.
So
Where are we at?
yeah, where you at, Sean?
Dude, I'm like, I do think there's a lot of weird
Suspects?
things. There's a lot of suspect things that are happening. I mean, I obviously the sheer, I know it's inconclusive, but the sheer amount of heroin in the system, the very obvious motive of Courtney trying to get money, and like multiple
Big motive.
multiple times of him being unhappy and not wanting to be with her. It's very suspect, super
The
suspect.
narrative is strange because she's the one saying he's suicidal.
true.
We think he's suicidal because of her.
Because of her.
Well, but he's also the one saying he's not.
yeah.
No, he's also like, I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, he's like,
I mean, also his friends and family were interviewed, and they were all saying, "No, I don't think he was suicidal. I don't think he was even depressed."
no, but the thing is, the only reason I am still on the fence and I'm kind of like 50-50 is because he was a heroin addict.
Yeah.
True.
And so,
So
like,
that's a wild card in
so
itself.
therefore, it's like his behavior will be sporadic. I don't know. Maybe he was having a fucking bad trip and he was just, fuck this shit, I'm done. And he clearly wrote most of this letter, at least.
Yeah.
So
Okay, but did he write the letter before or after the heroin?
I don't know. During, I don't know. I'm just saying that the fact that
I don't think he can get all that out after shooting up 7 times. 7 times. Here we go again. 7 times
no,
the
but
lethal
the
limit.
thing is, we don't know if that was the total or if that was
that's
the
true, that's
free.
true.
So
Okay,
that's what I'm
fine,
saying. Like,
fine.
Also, we don't know when that was written.
no. Also,
He could have wrote that in Rome.
yeah, exactly. But it also, my thing is like, I do think there's a lot of weird stuff.
You don't even believe that.
Eric's just like saying shit. He's like, he could have wrote that in Aberdeen.
We don't know.
I just think that I'm 50-50. I think that
50-50. Ooh.
my true belief is I think Courtney was trying to kill him, but maybe he had a little bad trip and it was a fucking. Then he maybe thought about it and was, you know what, going through a divorce, they'll be rich, they'll have money, fuck it. Because I think she tried to kill him in Rome.
Oh, I see.
I think she tried to.
That was more her.
I think she tried to rohypnol him because she was there and like and then it didn't work and she was probably like, fuck. Here's the reason I say that. It's fact that he went and bought shotgun shells.
Yeah.
It's fact that he got his friend to buy the shotgun.
Yes.
Yep.
So it's
So that makes him suicidal? No. That makes him want to protect himself.
Now you know what I deal with every night.
he's living in the woods, bro. Like,
He's living in the woods.
who's
He wants,
fucking coming from? The hills have eyes? Like,
dude, he's a celebrity. Everybody's
He's
coming for
loved.
him.
Well, they're all coming from. They couldn't find him for 2 days in a fucking greenhouse.
Good
Jesus
point.
Christ.
Good point. Good point.
I'm just saying that
No,
I'm 50-50. I'm 50-50.
50-50.
I actually, I could go
You go
both.
either
I
way?
could go either way. I go either
Hard
way.
to not be 50-50 with all
Interesting.
this. Like,
That's the first.
That's the first
50-50.
one. That's the
I
first one
know.
I've ever.
First
The
full
first one
undecided.
I've ever been 50-50.
Yeah.
I'm not 50-50. I think I'm leaning more towards Courtney.
Well, yeah. Clearly, you are. Right?
Oh, yeah, I know,
Who's
right?
gonna
I know.
fight?
I was like-
Who's gonna fucking fight
From
over
like
this?
episode 1, you guys could tell.
We're like,
Kurt Cobain.
I know,
Courtney.
He's like Courtney.
Courtney did it.
Did it?
No, I mean,
Okay.
so going back to Rome, right? She, so she's all upset about this divorce thing. She tries to kill him. I firmly believe that.
Yeah, I definitely believe. I totally believe
Right.
she tried to kill him in Italy. 100%.
Yeah, so it didn't work out, and then he tries to come back, and
He tried to quit.
That's right.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think he tried to quit maybe, and she was
No, I think it was after he was
You're
Lollapalooza. No, and she's like 10 milli, and she was like,
And
oh.
this whole time, she's supposed to be in rehab, but she's not. She's fucking high out of her
Oh
mind,
yeah, she's full of
which
shit.
just makes you act insane. Like there's no logic behind this.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
you're
true.
gonna be acting insane if you're high all the time on heroin and all these other drugs all the time. That's just what I think. I think that a mix of like that's her truth. She was just very jealous, very controlling, or whatever. And
I agree.
this
I
guy's
agree.
trying to leave, and then mix with now you mix in drugs, and her solution is I got to kill him, I got to off him. You know,
Yeah, like he doesn't know what he's doing.
if he's not gonna be with me, he's not gonna be with anybody else.
Oh yeah, he ain't gonna be with nobody.
okay. So
Mix in money, man. Money makes people act funny.
Hell,
You
agree.
know
the
that.
motive keeps me on that.
The motive is money. That's why I'm saying the motive is it's very apparent.
So
They had a prenup. He was clearly
Wanting
I'm
him to
done.
divorce?
I'm done with you.
Divorce, money, and
Okay, so
and the
that's
fact,
why that's how
and the
50-50.
fact
Yeah,
that
yeah,
she,
that's the
Yeah.
50 part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and also like the fact that she can make it look very easily. He could like this
Right.
whole
And she's
scenario
been, she
because
has
of
been
his.
setting the narrative. She's also been he's trying to
That's
kill
right,
himself.
right. So let's go back. So Rome, she says he's suicidal. She calls in the police department, acting like the mom, saying he's suicidal.
Yeah, that's weird. The mom, the mom.
The PI he hires, she keeps telling him he's so suicidal, blah blah blah, right? So, like, she's the only one saying that.
she's promoting
the
it.
She
only
is
one.
the only one who's repping that city. Yeah, that's true.
She's in the long game.
Oh yeah, she's like the girl who crashed.
Yeah. Okay, since that's what you believe. So what happened?
Who did it? I think the guy that was living there. What was his name again?
Kale or
Chad
or
or Callie?
Dylan
Yeah.
or Kale?
No, Callie.
Kale.
I think he's the one that helped out to.
Because he was there 2 days and
He was there 2
nobody
days.
said anything.
It was her ex-boyfriend. Also, by the way, if
They have
you
a
watch
little fireside chat.
If you watch the documentary, there's a note that he leaves on the stairs of the house, and like you could just tell it was like a setup. It was basically a note saying like, "I can't believe you're being so rude and so and like so insensitive. You're not calling back Courtney.
yeah,
Remember that?
I remember that. Yeah.
Right? So it
He was
just made-
mad because also the kid.
Right? She's
You
like,
know, he's
the-
like,
the
what
note is
kind
like,
of dad are you?
How can you do
know?
this to Courtney? And she's going through a lot of stuff. So it was a lot
And
of
like,
like.
I'm like, you're staying at my house, you piece of shit.
Exactly.
What's
Oh,
your
and
kid-
then the note says something. I can't believe you've been here for 2 days, but I didn't know, and you didn't let me know, and I didn't notice, or something like that.
It's
So-
my house. I own the property. I'm allowed to be here whenever the fuck I want.
I'm Kurt motherfucking Cobain.
I know. It's like you're
Yeah, yeah.
nobody, Callie.
But if he was actually
Michael.
there, and Callie was also there, how did he not notice him if he was in the house? What was he in the greenhouse the whole time?
No,
for
he's
2
got to
days?
get like a turkey sandy.
Come on now.
Like,
There's
you know?
nothing in that house.
there's
In the
just
greenhouse,
so many-
there's no furniture either.
So many.
There's a stool.
Exactly. There's nothing
Yeah.
there. Like, why would he hang out there?
Barricade stool.
Right. A barricade stool.
That is another the barricade. The barricade stool.
Anyways, we also
Okay.
didn't. We I don't. Yeah.
Well,
there was
what
the-
happened?
So Callie
So
conspired.
you found that he shot him
Callie's
up.
conspired because this is the conspiracy.
Kelly's
that
like, he's like,
he
you want? He's like,
worked
Kelly's,
with-
Kelly's like, you want a taste, bro?
That's
You want
right.
a little taste?
I see.
Yeah,
With the
so-
drug dealer.
with the drug dealer and with Courtney, and they basically set this up.
Shot him up.
Yep.
Big
And
time.
he probably got- he prob-
1.2. 1.5. What is it? 1.52.
1.25.
Pretty much a mobile.
Yes.
The
At
like,
that
then
point.
you can just
He
do
like
all the
hold on to the
things.
gun. He's like,
I see.
and maybe not even like he could just shoot him and then place his hand or something.
yeah,
right?
they,
Yeah,
they
I
can just
see.
move his hand for him.
And then you
It's
wipe
like
it.
fucking-
You wipe it real quick.
yeah, just get a little wipe.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I don't know. That's what I think, man.
All right. I get it. I get it.
Okay, man.
Okay.
Okay.
I hate to be the guy, but I think he killed himself.
You're just doing this to.
No, I'm not.
This is
No,
for
no,
ratings.
no,
Classic.
This is for ratings.
No, I think he was a insanity of a drug addict.
That's another thing. It's
depressive.
the drugs
depression,
are a
like,
wild
drugs.
card. They're a wild
Not only
card,
just
yeah.
heroin.
That's right.
They're
But
a
we don't
wild
even
card.
know. We don't even know the Ritalin thing.
Yeah, I mean,
So you
yeah,
mix in
I
Ritalin,
totally forgot about. I
Valium,
forgot about the
Heroin.
Valium. He did have Valium.
Valium in
That's
his
true.
system. You have
Did he
all
have
these different things.
Did he have Ritalin in his system, or we don't?
We
know
don't know
'cause-
that.
'cause
Yeah,
we
we knew
don't
it
know.
was heroin and Valium.
I'm just
We knew-
saying
it was
that he-
heroin
So you're
and
just
Valium.
throwing that in to make your point. Go ahead.
Yeah, Eric set the stage. Here.
Yeah, I know.
He's
All
like,
I'm saying-
you know, alcohol.
American spirits.
So it's like he's seen some real sketch, some like Ebola chicken. Like,
No, I just think when you're in, it's that much drug. When it's that much drug, every moment is a new moment of insanity or sanity.
Psychosis.
That's
yeah,
true.
It's like, ugh.
That's true.
So,
It's a wild
so
card.
whether or not he's suicidal in Rome doesn't matter. He's so much of a drug addict that in Aberdeen or Seattle, it doesn't like at that moment he could have been, fuck it, I'm done.
You know what? Okay.
I'm out.
Just
But
to
why?
add,
You know?
Why?
no, but just to add,
Like-
I mean, all of his
Just
writings
because of
is
the
so
drugs?
depressing.
No, but Eric-
like he doesn't want to do what he's doing anymore.
Also, by the way, was this really a suicide note, or was it maybe more of a like song lyrics? That's another conspiracy
no,
there.
here's one thing.
True.
Here's
I
one
do
thing
like
I
that.
can say
I do
is
like
like,
that one. Yeah, I do like that.
what
Nothing points to it being a murder yet.
No, Eric, just to your point.
Nothing.
Eric, to your point, let's say like he gets fucked up, and he's writing this, and he's like, yeah, and then like this starts kicking, he's like, oh fuck, and then he's like, why am I here? And he starts writing bigger, and he's like even bigger, like. You know, because it gets progressively bigger. It just keeps getting progressively, and he's like more like.
Yeah, but everything we see in the movies, that shit kicks in fast,
I know.
immediate.
I know.
So
Okay,
look
Jorge-
at the size of this.
Jorge,
How long do
sure.
you think that would take you to write that? no, I'm serious. How long do
Yeah.
you think it would take you to write that?
No, but Jorge, also in the movies, they also have movies, The Transporter,
That's it.
where Jason Statham's immortal. So, you know, the movies aren't really real.
I know.
Let's just be honest.
But they're not.
He literally like 360s an Audi into like a parking garage.
Okay, fine. I mean, you know.
I mean, have you seen Avatar?
Yeah.
Like, hello, real life.
Hello.
I don't know, man.
No,
I don't know anything about fucking heroin. All I'm saying is
I know
that
there's some weird stuff.
from what I know, you shoot something into your veins, that's just gonna act immediate.
Totally.
And by the way, don't forget 7 times lethal limit.
I understand, like, even.
So
I
how
also-
long?
I also
How
understand.
long would it take you to write that?
I
Look
also
look how
can't
small
imagine
that
how
is.
small. I can't write that small super sober. Like, but that's
Yeah.
just
Right.
me. I think maybe he wrote it and then it was.
Yeah, maybe it
I
was
think
like,
I'll do a little-
like 3 sittings.
He's like, I'll do a little heroin now.
Maybe he
And
did
then-
it in
and he's
multiple
like-
sittings.
That's a good
And
point.
then he started making mistakes. He
That's
started.
a-
Look,
yeah, I didn't
yeah.
think about
He
that.
started
I thought it
doing
was
a-
all at once.
No, he
I
starts
mean-
doing little scratchies.
You know, you
He's
get a
like,
different
he's like,
pen.
fuck that up. Fuck
Yeah.
that up. Shit.
Yeah.
He's like, what did I write there? Who wills it? I can't even read this. shit.
Here's my thing.
Or
Here's my
by
thing.
the way, another thing
Yeah.
that we didn't really dive into is Courtney. You mentioned this though, but Courtney had the handwriting
which is
practicing
super
whatever.
weird.
There's another theory that this was all traced from other
Yeah,
lyrics.
no, I did. I did see
lyrics
that.
from
I
like
did see
other
that.
books that he had written, or
Yeah, yeah.
notes that he had
Yeah,
taken or whatever,
yeah.
just writing
His
down
own
lyrics or
notebooks.
whatever. Yeah, his own notebooks or whatever. And then they took some of those lyrics or whatever, and then they traced it and they wrote this note.
Possible.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
I don't know. Here's my thing.
it's like
At
way too
first-
elaborate for these retards.
At first,
Like,
I know-
like,
I
I
know-
can't imagine Courtney being like, "Oh yeah, I want to trace the trace." No,
Here's the thing. I know that I'm gonna get shit for this because I know a lot of people are on board with you, Jorge. Yeah. So after learning about him and his life, I actually thought less of him. You know what I mean? Because he got pregnant, he became a family man and started doing heroin while he was pregnant.
well, he wasn't pregnant, but his wife was.
Yeah.
I understand that.
She also was doing heroin.
But still,
so.
I do blame him just as much as her. You know?
Oh
what
yeah,
I mean? On
yeah,
that.
I would. Yeah,
You know, because
understand.
you're literally like, yo, you're pregnant, you can't do it, bro.
only I can.
Yeah.
And you're
Heroin's
sitting
for
here-
me only.
Yes. Yeah, you know, I feel like he created this very dramatically depressive life.
Yeah,
And it was so so emotional and so bro, man.
and like I do get
like
it. Like,
what
yeah,
happened? What happened to him? His parents got divorced?
I understand that sucks, but like I can't.
Are you kidding?
You're saying
that's
like
it? I'm just saying it's just so dramatic.
It seems
Yeah.
like
For that.
I mean,
For that.
Yeah, it's not like his parents were like beating him and keeping him a
No.
slave.
Yes.
And,
It's
like-
so dramatic. Meaning he turned to drugs because it felt good.
It felt good.
yeah.
It felt good.
Yeah.
And then he became an addict.
Yeah.
And he lost his mind. He was still an artist. Great. He did a few great songs.
Mm-hmm.
And then there you go. But at the same time, he became so
Drugs took
psychotic in my mind that a majority of the evidence, 51% of the evidence, leans me to believe that he killed himself.
51%.
No, if you,
And that's enough for me to just say,
well, if you do look at,
I don't really see anything that.
If you do look at, they do the multiple interventions, and he's my friends are fucking against me.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
they're like, dude,
fuck
stop
you,
doing
dude.
drugs. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, it's a little weird.
I know.
Like, why?
A lot of people react that way from an intervention. A lot. And
Totally.
they don't go and fucking
Totally.
off themselves.
Yeah.
No,
I
for
know.
sure. And they react that way because they can't
And they
take
have way
responsibility.
shittier lives. They don't fucking have the millions that he had.
Well, dude, I know, but still, his parents got divorced when he was 9.
But maybe it's not all that it's cracked up to be.
What?
The money and
the money and the fame?
The playing
Well,
in front of thousands of people, just playing a song.
Yeah.
Well, it's not filling the. It's clearly
Yeah.
not. It clearly wasn't filling the void
That's
that
right.
he
Yeah.
had.
Yeah.
He
You know,
just
and
wanted
like-
to
and
be creative, be
Yeah.
creating his music
Yeah.
or whatever. But he didn't want the fame. He actually
Yeah.
that's why he wanted to quit.
Yeah.
And I mean, we all agree that Courtney was not a good influence.
No, she was the worst.
So if anything,
think we all agree
if
she was a
anything, I
piece of
almost
shit.
am
Like,
like,
Courtney's a
I'm
piece of
almost
shit.
like, I'm
Like-
almost, well, he offed himself because
To get away from her, just to like, he's like, this is the only way I could really get divorced for life. Like, we are done.
But there is a little bit of me going, there is some weird stuff. I do understand.
No, there's
I understand why we did this episode because there is some weird shit.
and there's weird stuff. I just don't know how you can be that depressed for you. Like, my daughter will be better off without me.
That's
But
right.
I'm
I know.
like,
I
really?
know.
he must have
I
been
think about that.
he must have been an asshole.
I'm like, really?
Right?
Yeah, maybe he treated her like
Was
shit.
he
Maybe he
like-
did.
He
yeah.
must have.
Extremely depressed.
Why would you think that?
I
Unless you did something wrong,
extremely
right?
depressed. No, you don't have to do. Well, I mean, you're
Maybe
you're a drug addict.
And he's
like,
on
so
tour,
maybe-
and he's like never
what's the
around her, I
reason?
guess.
Yeah, what's the reason why you would say you're better off without me? Is it because you've done something?
Oh.
Or maybe you just weren't
Right?
there. You're shitty. Yeah. You're an ass, yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way at all. So I'm like,
Yeah. Well, now
my
I
daughter needs me like there. I need to be there. Like,
yeah. Well, now I feel worse than when I did at the beginning of this episode.
I actually feel I feel worse now than I did after episode 1 when they were like, he's dead. So, what are your great theories?
It's so depressing. I know. The conspiracy is more uplifting than what
I know.
the
It's
opinion
like,
of it.
I changed my. I rescind my.
Yes.
I'm no longer 50-50.
Yeah,
I'm
he was
51.
killed.
I'm 51-49.
Yeah, a great poet of our time was murdered. Cold blood.
It is actually like it's
Yeah.
actually better that he get murdered.
It's so weird when like somebody that famous, that powerful, and maybe not powerful, but like just that famous,
Influential.
Yeah, there you go. And then they die, and it's like everybody kind of feels it. Like
Oh, yeah.
it's just weird. Like and now we're going through it again, and
You
kind of
feel it again.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Dude,
man.
I still feel Robin Williams.
yeah,
Dude, I know. That's such a shame.
Right? Like,
or Kobe Bryant.
Kobe,
like that one
too.
hit me, man.
yeah.
And the fact that it was his daughter too.
Yeah,
so,
that was a big.
Oh God.
And it's like, what's funny? It's like for a while I didn't like Kobe because
Yeah.
I don't like.
I was like, hate
I
the
don't
Lakers.
Like,
Yeah,
I don't like the Lakers.
But I became a Kobe fan. I
know.
I became. I don't know. Like we're super
yeah.
digress.
I understand what you're saying. Anthony Bourdain, I didn't like. That was upsetting to me.
Yeah,
too.
I know.
Yeah.
Because I really liked
I really
his-
liked Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah, I liked his life.
By the way, should we do another episode on Anthony Bourdain? You guys let us know.
Yeah, we never done another one.
Yeah.
We didn't do one.
No,
No,
I'm
he's
saying
saying
should we do
Oh,
another
yeah, sorry,
another
sorry.
episode of our podcast?
Eric's like,
Oh.
the confusion in Eric's face is like he was so perplexed. Like,
No.
what are you talking about? I understand.
He's like, should we do another episode on Anthony Bourdain? I'm like,
episode 2.
when? Did I just black out?
Eric,
Do you roof me?
Eric got
Talking to them.
Eric got 50 Rohypnols.
Dude, we should.
No more Miller Lights for
Also,
you.
all right, guys. Well, that is Kurt Cobain. I know all three of us have different opinions. This is actually usually it's
take that, Facebook guy.
yeah. So I don't know where you guys stand. Maybe we'll do a poll.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Just
should do a
check
poll.
it out.
Do you stand with Eric, Sean, or Jorge?
Yeah.
You decide.
I do kind of like Sean's position in this because one piece of evidence could kind of tip it over.
That's what I'm saying. I just
No,
need,
you-
I
you
need
do
understand.
one more
You-
nugget. I need one more
I
nugget.
one more thing.
Hold on, because you can't be 50-50. You're on both sides. Take a side, 51-50 or 51-49 at
I
least.
let him be 50-50.
all right.
No, you
That's
said
fine.
51-49 at least.
Yeah, I'm 51.
Listen.
So
Jorge,
you gotta be 51 on one.
You can't
side.
tell me how to live my life. I identify as 50-50.
No, I like it because for the longest period when I was researching this, I was like, I have no idea.
If I
have
had,
no idea.
If I had to lean If I had to lean,
1%.
I would lean towards he was killed. There's just too much motive.
There's a lot of motive.
And that's the only.
That's the big
I'd
thing
give it
that
the 1% for the motive, dude.
I know.
I'd give it for the motive, and that's why.
I like it.
Yeah.
Me and Sean.
Motive is
Me and Sean on the same side again.
Hell is Brown stick together,
Yes,
brother.
yes, sir.
Although I will say that I am very open to being leaned on this one. Like
Okay.
I'm not as
Okay.
Oh shit.
that's the thing.
Okay. All right. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one, and nighty night.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the show. If you want to reach out to us, please email us at info@theconspiracypodcast.com. You can check us out on Instagram at @conspiracypodcast. Also, don't forget to subscribe. You can catch a new podcast almost every week. Just hit the little subscribe button at the top. It's a plus sign. We love show ideas, corrections, hate mail. Thanks a bunch.